Busy Thursday afternoon here as we head back to the upside right now. Just noticing the NASDAQ back, not 2-day highs, but 16,038 right now, trying to get back higher on the back of strength, specifically in semiconductors. We'll talk about AMD and Google as well coming up here. But 0.8 for the S&P coming back into play, trying to get back higher as well. I wanted to mention this real quick before we jump into individual stocks. Here's the dollar. This is a daily chart, so big move down once again today for the DXY yields as well, back downside. We did start the day actually higher for both the 30-year and the 10-year, back to essentially day lows, which is corresponding to yesterday's lows as well for both. We'll have Frank Caberna on this afternoon. He'll talk about and tee up for us. Non-farm payrolls coming up tomorrow morning at 8:30. I mean, a lot riding on that, let's put it that way. But then going into next week, keep in mind, Tuesday we get CPI, Wednesday we get the Fed, Tuesday and Wednesday, 2-day Fed meetings. So a lot to come over the next couple of days, a lot to talk to Frank about as a result. Here's NVIDIA up 2%, obviously not the biggest one today by far. AMD just on a mission. If you missed it this morning, Meta and Microsoft coming out saying they could switch to AMD chips from NVIDIA's AI chips. So big move up for AMD today on that. Crypto, kind of hanging out, positive though. Here's Coinbase back downside right now, 135 holding, which was this area of support from early on, but a bit of a downtick right now. Still 0.5% for Coinbase. Yeah, monstrous down here, tough to see, but 8.38%, huge. For AMD, dragging all the other ones along with it begrudgingly. Apple 1%. Google a huge day, 5.3% to the upside. Microsoft and Meta, yes, Sean, begrudgingly to the upside. I don't know why I said that. Here's the overall NASDAQ, right back to the top end of the range, 390.5. Everyone focusing on this. We'll talk about C3 AI with earnings, but it was all about this new Google AI. If you were with us this morning, we were talking about Alphabet specifically ahead of this move. Join us every day, 8:30. We talk about everything that's moving in the pre-market and more ahead of the open. If you missed it yesterday, Gemini gets released from Google. They were talking about Gemini for quite some time. Just give me one sec, Ramin. I got it. Okay, go for it. Brand new version of their AI across the board. Brand new features in Google Documents, brand new features in Maps, brand new features across the board. Voice recognition technology gets a boost from Google, guys, and the stock also getting a boost from this today. Huge day, 5+% still.
Oh, I got a bad wick. Welcome back. And well, I guess it feels like we were just here because we were kind of just here for a little bit, stepping in, which I don't know, I kind of feel like we could do that more often. Like we are sitting here. That was fun. That was like one of those forever windows or mirrors as Sharif walked through the shot. I like that. We should use that every now and then just for jokes. But back to the market for a quick second.
There goes AMD again. Wow.
Oh my goodness. So AMD's making a fresh high. Google was just as strong this morning, but it's not anymore. Like Google, the difference between Google and AMD, to sum it up, is Google made a huge breakout, got to resistance on the daily, and pulled back. AMD made a huge breakout, and we'll talk about AMD in a second, got to resistance and said, nah, who cares? We're just going to go higher. So that's the difference between those two. I didn't trade Google. The anecdote I'll use here for Alphabet would be just have a look at Microsoft today. So good news for Google with the new offering here. Clearly, Microsoft is the one they're not taking it on the chin because they're up 0.5%, all these wicks on my 15-minute, but they're not breaking the highs either. This market is up 1.4, broken 16,000, holding a consolidation off the top, and you still have the same resistance on Microsoft up here from noon at about 371. So if you, I'm in a couple of shorts. One of them is ARM. That's kind of a play from yesterday, and then Nikola off the 80 level. But if the market does pull back, I kind of feel like Microsoft might be the one here at like 371. And that's simply because this has been a Google win to the chagrin of Microsoft. And I'm only saying that relatively speaking. There's nothing about Microsoft's chart today that doesn't look decently strong. It's just not nearly as strong as the market or some of its cohorts today, which does make this 371 top relevant. That's all.
Yeah, guys, welcome back. Thank you for joining us one more time. I mean, wow, what an amazing morning it was. We talked about having our best morning of the year. That's true. And then we just added right now to it with Apple. We've been fighting this short on AMD. Like, I tried it here. Like, look, we tried it and it was winning. It was winning. Now these last ones was not winning. As I thought, you see this big volume spike. First of all, we're back into the short right now. We're flat on it. This volume spike right here and then the push back, I thought we could possibly have been done there. So what I did was I went short, then I shorted the top before it eventually took out, again, a new high, like up 9%. I just shared the sticky note again with everybody. And, you know, we were long from 121. I had Wayne ask me about that level up there. I mentioned it to him as well. So it's just like, today, what a great day it's been for these chip names. Trade the names. And look, like now I'm losing going short. It's like, again, like focus on what you're doing. Today's definitely been a long day and you should probably stay that way. The only thing is we did put on one short and so far so good, right? I mean, we talked about, I gave away a little bit here on the share size, but we did short the first time 500, a couple more there as it's making the move back in here for Apple. So it's going to be another good one right there. And we still have on board a piece, obviously, for that as well. So let's wait to see. We're going to play a little bit of a retracement here in AMD. I feel like if we can get anything down into 127, even 127.40, take 15 cents. And then, you know, when you're playing pullbacks on stocks that have been basically, this is not parabolic, but I mean, up 9% on news that yesterday made the move go down. Like nothing really new has happened here except for this today. So a lot of excited hands here in AMD. And I guess it's going to take diamond hands to hold the short. That won't be me, man. If we can just get a little bit, a couple pieces back and forth here, that will be good enough. So let's see what happens here with AMD trying to pull back into 127. I agree, man. I don't, what's up, TH? I'm shorting for a very, very small amount of time here, which is why I was just talking about maybe taking 15 cents worth of risk against a 15-cent profit. So very, very small trade here in AMD. But wow, congratulations. I was saying like some of the portfolios right now near all-time highs, especially if you're holding and been averaging into some of these Mag 7 names and AI-related chips. Okay, Brendan, Frank Caberna today is confirmed, yay or nay?
Yeah, he's coming up in 30-ish minutes, as I said. We'll talk about what's coming tomorrow, non-farm payrolls again, and then next week is going to be wild, if you missed it, CPI. And, oh yeah, Mr. Powell's going to take to the microphone once again. All right, let's go. This AMD is insane today. Like, what happened here with AMD? They come out, I mean, two things. Meta, Microsoft both come out after the close yesterday and say, hey, we could, at a moment's notice, jump over to AMD, AI chips versus NVIDIA. So there's that. There's also a whole bunch of new products that my friend Sharif is going to tell you about.
Yeah, it's the MI300X, Brendo. That's their new GPU. It's the competitor to the H100, which is NVIDIA's flagship GPU. That'll run you about $40,000. This MI300X is supposed to be a cheaper price point, but recall that when you do buy these GPUs, you get the integrative software with it, so it's not as easy for some of these hyperscalers to adopt a new product. That'll be a bit of a headwind there. Lisa Su is forecasting that by 2027, this GPU business for data center is going to be about a $400 billion a year business. To make some comparisons about where we are right now, NVIDIA, which has about 80% of the market by some accounts, reported $14 billion in their last quarter for these GPUs. AMD is forecasting about $2 billion worth of net sales for this new GPU next year, all of next year. So a small amount, but nonetheless, a nice entry.
Yeah, the battle of the leather jackets in AI world. But we're right back to June levels here, guys, now for AMD. Why not 10% today?
Yeah, why not? I was just looking up the weekly for the high here. First of all, battle of leather jackets, Lisa Su wins. Let's just go with that. I'm not here to tell you that I think they're going to beat NVIDIA in this space. I don't think they are. I just think they don't have to do well. But before we get to that, I do want to point this out on this MLGO. And I'm not saying this is a haha, make sure you take profits kind of thing, because genuinely speaking, if you hear Sean or I say, be careful chasing runners, take profit where you can, have yourself, all of that stuff that we try to preach. It's mostly because nobody wants to see anybody lose out on what was obviously a winning trade for them yesterday and give it all back. But MLGO broke support and look at the move down. I'm actually a little bit embarrassed that I wasn't looking for the short in this stock, but this is what can happen for one of these runners. As fast as it goes up, it's even faster that this came down when it failed 13, which might have been the easiest short I've ever seen. I'm looking at this. It halted down, and this is like a 13.50. It then showed you a break at 13. It never got back above that halt price. That's a 50-cent risk trade. And I don't think I would have expected it to go to $4, but I think you could have eked a couple of dollars out of that. You certainly could have eked a couple of dollars out of AMD today. All I will say is, unfortunately, I didn't think it was doing. There was no part of me that thought this was happening on AMD. Just zero. Well, I shouldn't say zero, but like call it 1%. There were some great levels for breakouts and then dips on AMD. We can talk about these ad nauseum. 121.50 comes from this level here, so resistance 121.50 for the initial breakout on the dip. Yesterday's high. So it's just resistance turning into support, and that was 2 levels on AMD, and now it's at 128. I haven't traded it since trying to short it off this 126 level, which had mixed results, and then ended up eventually giving some back. But this has been ridiculous, and on the weekly chart, this is what I was just looking at, because I'm going to get on the offer in my personal account. Just going to throw that out there. I don't know if it gets to 130, but this 130 level on the weekly looks pretty big. So if it gets to 129, I think that's worth taking some profit on it. But yeah, I do feel there's going to be a turn in this stock that drops. At this point, I'd think if it fails 128, why not 126.5? And if it gets to 129, why not 127? I just feel like there's going to be some profit taking in the stock at some point today, but who knows? What an unbelievable day for AMD. In some ways, I'm a little bit speechless because 10% on this stock after the way it sold off yesterday on the event, bit surprising.
Yeah, I mean, the move is what the move is. I thought, my bad, I was talking about AMD. We actually, when we were talking about Google, I should have been talking about Google. I didn't realize that.
That's fine.
But here's AMD, man, 121.50. It's written on the sticky note as it was written. Shout out to Nas. But there it is, man. It's a nice move back up. I thought I was being pretty cool, taking it out at 124 and really happy with $3. But yeah, that $3 looks like embarrassing level right now. And since then, I haven't been able to get long. Or think about the long. I'm the same way. We talk about having a bias, and I cannot believe how high we're up right now when we know about this. We knew this was coming. I'm very surprised. I guess there was a lot of traders caught off guard, but we just made, so again, not my style. I'm not really overly proud of this, but all of this in here, like we just fell back in. There's a bunch of fills down here into the 60s. So exactly what we said we were going to do, we just did. We were scalping this against this 128. We're short at 127.88 right now. So those right there, those fills, you can see. I mean, this is why we do the show. That fill right there is 70. My first fill is 70, right? Then my next fill right there is 63s. And then we have a couple more in the 60s. Let's see if we can break lower. But I think it's worth the risk to hold on to a piece right now. But my out's breaking through 128. What a great day for AMD. As they say, the rest is completely history. We took Google long early. That was a good trade through 135. Its high of the day is 138 and change. Up 6%. Unbelievable. Definitely profit taking if you think this is overdone. The NASDAQ could still go, man. We're only at 16,000. Imagine if the NASDAQ, and we're going to have Frank talk about rates and a little bit more macro than all of this, but we still have, if we go to the daily chart here on the NASDAQ, like you're still right here, but you could still, what I was going to say is that you could still, I just wanted to see what that wick was, 16,200. So you still have another 100 and change points back to the highs. So if you're thinking like right now this is a little overdone, I can't blame anybody for potentially getting out and then either getting long again a couple hundred handles from here, or possibly just sitting on some cash and waiting for maybe a move back in. But look at that, man, 14,000. We were just there back November 1st. It's a huge move up. And don't be foolish, man, because we all saw 2022. This can turn on a dime for reasons unexpected. So right now, everything's groovy, everything's good, and AMD continues to fall back in. We're now another 20 cents in. Let's take a piece out and go over to the desk and see what Sharif's up to.
Fabian's running right now. In the shot. Ramin almost caught him. Almost caught him. AI, a bit of a price adjustment today coming off of their report. Gaps to the downside, hasn't done much. Test higher, test lower. And here we are chopping around at 26 bucks, back to the bottom end of the range over here.
Yeah, they beat on the top line, Brendo, but missed on the bottom line. Another loss. They expanded the loss to $69.8 million. Compare that to the revenue that they made, which was just over 74. I think 73.2 million. The revenue climbed 17%, but it's just the loss is increasing. So not much left here. We'll see how they do. I still don't really know what this company does. I know you looked it up this morning. I'm still not convinced.
Generative AI, Sharif, across lots and lots of different platforms. But yeah, not good on earnings, guys.
I love that description. If someone asked me what C3AI does, my answer to that is I pull this down, my trade ideas, I type in AI, you know, and oh, wait a minute, it doesn't, there we go. You type in AI, and all I do is I look at the fundamentals of the company and I look at the chart. That's my answer. I don't care. And it's not the, that's the wrong way to put it, but look, if I was invested in C3AI, I would understand what they do. But I'm not invested in the stock. I don't have to worry about it. I'm just only wanting to trade it. And so we talked about in the middle of the day here, if anyone that wasn't watching How to Trade in the midday show, we came on, like both of us came on towards the end of the show, and we're sort of talking about risk management and psychological parts of trading. One of the things I was mentioning was, okay, well, what does wrong look like for you? And like, what does that end up? So C3AI, I'll show you why I like 26. So this is a 26 level on C3AI. Now, anybody that watched the last couple of earnings for C3AI, or just in general, every time I think the market might pull back and AI names will get crushed, I'm like, this is the stock I want. When I looked at this 26 level, I saw a huge opportunity that was like 8 to 10% further to the downside. It's already down big, no chance to trade off the 28 level today. So the 26 level was the one to work off of. Every single time I saw weakness off that level, I was in it. Every time. Loss, win, small win, loss, 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 loss. So it was like 2 for 7 on the stock. Now the key thing for me when trading this is if any one of those work, then it's a great day on C3AI. But I never want to have this stock be the one. You can't lose more on this than what you could make. Like when Meta makes a good trade and you get a good trend, or like whatever it might be. Like you just don't want that to blow the entire day. So my stops are all pretty tight. I never once really held it terribly far against me. It's just you're willing to take the hits because I think the upside was there had this broken down, but I'm never willing to get destroyed on the stock. And maybe it breaks out. The interesting thing about it is now you might close above 26, which is a good sign. Like closing above the 26 level I think would be good for the stock. Yes, it's down 10%, but it immediately found support. And the short float, and I'm looking back up, is 35%. So this could easily break higher tomorrow. We only have one more day in the week. Maybe we talk about this next week. But if it's made a bottom down here, the longer it holds 26, it's got some serious squeeze potential. And once resistance levels happen, wow, AMD is continuing to go higher. I just keep looking up at AMD. It's hard not to look at AMD and get a little bit of FOMO to not be in the long. But anyways, C3AI, it was a fail for me today, but good risk management at least is the only thing you can take away from it when you lose on a trade. Did you follow your plan? Did you adhere to your outs? At least I can say that was true on C3AI. And I probably look for a squeeze in the next couple of days as long as 26 hold. But weakness underneath that 26, I still think that's the level I want to short. But wow, 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 AMD. All roads lead to 128 just broke and came back in.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a failed breakout to try to get into this. I would hope it would be 130 because 130 that's a much easier level, I think, to get behind for sure. This is tricky at 128, and sorry about this wick, but I am looking for a pullback trade the same way Sean is. 10% on AMD, I just think there's going to be a profit take opportunity. And if you can try to risk 20 to 25 cents, there's going to be a $1 to $1.50 move is the way I'm approaching the afternoon for AMD here. And I apologize in advance for the amount that we're going to talk about AMD this afternoon.
Yeah, the only trade I have on, I mean, I have AMD and Apple. So, yeah, look, give it to that 128.11. I don't know. We just blasted it. Continuously playing the short here is. There's 128.11, and there's the out. So we'll take another 10-cent hit, and all we're sort of doing is death by paper cuts. We still have all positive names today. AMD's still very, very positive, but we've been giving it back because, wow, there it goes. Look, the best way to play all of this, and we talk about this in the after show all the time. Join me today on the market recap show as we just tweeted this out again. Let me show you this. Thanks to Fabian with once again another real cool today. Lulu earnings, NVIDIA, AMD, all popping. It's a market recap show, and it's with yours truly today. As we had a back out on one of my guests there was not feeling that well. So, all right, look at this, SMH. Wow, what an extension today. Only up 2 and a bit, obviously following all the names, but SMH on a daily chart as well. I shouldn't show you, it's not, that's because of the split, but you still have some room to go back up to the upside here as well. But wow, AMD just continues to rip upside. It's now through 128.20 right now and still going.
Just very quickly, this is what you were trying to show.
I didn't show C3AI. Yeah, you can go to Neil's screen.
This is split adjusted. So essentially on SMH, I know what Sean's obviously getting at is if you look at this, SMH is in a little bit of a, I don't know, like pullback channel, like lower highs or through, like you've got room to go, but you are running into some resistance. And if the channel holds, it's at a level where you'd expect a little bit of a turn. This is not to predict what's going to happen. That's just about looking at the technicals. And okay, so I'm just into, you know what? This is my bad. We talked about chips. We're gonna get back to, we'll get back to like C3I and whatever's next on this. But we talked about the chips, and I didn't mention that I'm in ARM. So if you were following this in the afternoon, I mentioned that ARM was at the level that it died yesterday at 63. So this is 63 on ARM. 2 days ago, that's Tuesday. I should think about that for a second. So 63, and then 63 yesterday, it really rolled over at that price. So when it double topped at 63, I'll save you the drama. It failed to break out right here, broke the high of the day, failed at 63, short the consolidation underneath, short it to VWAP. I held onto a piece for the dream being 61.5. And I'm going to take a reload here. Anything that's not breaking out highs when the market's going ham, I want to take some shots at if I see some rejection levels. So, if we get back into this 62, 85 to 90 range, I'll probably take a piece, not as much as we had before, and then try to get back into VWAP on ARM. So that is I hate to use the term relative weakness, but it's more of a resistance level on ARM that was significant yesterday, because this is up 2.7%. It's not like it's a weak stock, but it's at a big sell level that got confirmed this afternoon.
All right, let's go GME. What a recovery this has been today, coming off earnings. Red to green and then some here today, back above 15 on the way back through that this morning. But yeah, revenue a miss, EPS a beat, loss continues to improve each quarter over quarter, but still a loss, but nice bounce back.
Yeah, look, Brendo, they missed on revenue, like you mentioned, but they're not alone in that one. We saw Take-Two Interactive report as well, and they were talking about less spending by gamers in the gaming industry. Obviously, GameStop is going to suffer from that. One good tailwind, though, that I have to mention, the cost. Ryan Cohen really getting costs under control. He reduced it 24%, bringing it down to $296.5 million on the quarter. So like you said, nice bounce back, but we'll have to see how it does.
Nice move today, guys. Just checking out GMBL. There was a couple of people mentioning this. They had a positive headline this morning, but little tiny penny stock. This thing's 2 cents. A ton of volume behind this, but up 25% here for Gamble.
Oh, I was kind of hoping you would leave it at just calling it GMBL, and then I was going to say you want to be careful before you gamble on that stock.
Yeah, that would have been a good one.
But it is what it is. Brendan obviously is too professional to leave out the actual name of the company just so I can say something that I think is funny. GameStop, here's the thing about GameStop. It's going to give you an opportunity when it's in play, right? So anyone watching the show this morning, 14.35 was my over-under level. It started out under. Why is this? Uh-oh.
Oh, this AMD is just.
Okay, there we go. Oh, give me a break. That's right, my chart crashed. I have to do this thing. Anyways, I'll stick with this chart. 14.35 was the key level. I'm going to have to make an adjustment because this chart crashed. But 1435 was my key level, found on the 15-minute chart. Zoom out, you'll find it pretty easily on the 15. I was short under, took the hit, actually took the hit twice, sandwiched around like a nice 2-point win there. But then it broke right back out. However, when it showed strength above that level, I simply reversed it. When it showed me strength above there, I just joined the buying. So I bought at the 50s and the 60s. It then broke out again, and I bought at the 15 level. So first 14 half to 60s into 15. Then I bought again 15 into 15.50. I got 40s was the best out. I did get a nasty out on the way back in, which kind of sucks. This is going to happen. I was holding some for, I guess, the dream, and it broke back 10 cents underneath break even. So I took that last little hit. But GameStop, as long as you were willing to be mentally agile and flip it because it was squeezing, it made the move. Now, had AI broken out the top, I might have taken AI long, but AI didn't really, it just didn't really go, so there was never an opportunity to break this one out into the upside. But able to get it back on GME today. Remember, I was coming in thinking short this, short C3 AI, so there's no way you're not gonna be, it's hard to have been up shorting the stock today. I suppose you could have somehow caught that top and only shorted 2 levels and managed to eke out a positive day. But the easier path was to simply reverse and be a bit more mentally agile. So I'd rather take the easy road. There's a quote, actually it's not really a quote, it's a sentiment that I believe in when trading. It's just, like if I present you with 2 options, I'm gonna use a basketball analogy. If I tell you that I'm gonna give you 1 point for every bucket you score, and you get the choice between playing me one-on-one or LeBron James one-on-one. I understand it's probably more fun to play LeBron James one-on-one, but if you're trying to get paid, you're going to want to play me in basketball. I'm over 40 years old, and I don't think I have any game left, whereas the other guy is like the second best player of all time. So in trading, take the path of least resistance. Sometimes that means trading with the trend. Sometimes that means only trade the plays that are of the stocks that are in play. Whatever it means to you, just take the path of least resistance when trading. Trade the thing that is the easiest for you to understand and the easiest thing for you to execute, whether or not it's cool. Like it's really cool if you caught the top today on GameStop shorting it. Don't trust me. It's cool if you got it because I usually think it's going down. But it's a lot easier to have just found a way to go long on the stock at some point today. So path of least resistance usually works out. And yes, second best player.
Yeah.
MJ.
I was just going to say, like, I have a new position. We'll see what happens. We short Palantir right now. We're short 33s here. I see this kind of a top. I mean, I'm going to give it to 50. Palantir was, again, talk about having the bottom and then talk about writing down 17 as a long and then not taking it. That sucks. But yeah, we got long, we got in, we got out, and now I'm just re-engaging right now with a short into this level. Reason why we're going short Palantir right here is like, it's only up 1.1%, which is fine. It's just like, we just had some monster moves, and it's not going. So I feel like this is good. Let's wait to see. We'll average more in and around 40, and then we'll see if it takes out 50. So that's like, there's going to be a trade. We'll wait for it. We'll see if it can work out. But we are in this one. And then, like, honestly, I know. Just real quick. You got to get out of trades, right? We talked about that. I talked about, the shares and everything. So we're taking some more out right now on Apple as we just got a 41 fill. It's having a problem right now breaking lower than where we are right now. So Apple at this, fine. I will reload this thing up at 195 because if we get to 195 on Apple, that means the market is probably going to be up close to 2%. So I would just say watch out to see if Apple gets back up there. I could see that happening again. Another pretty weak name. It's not weak today, but I just mean like when you're looking at Google and I think wasn't Meta up a couple points as well.
Before you go back.
Yeah, on Google? Meta
No, just
3%.
It's because you said relatively weak. I'm just gonna throw this out there. Coinbase is rolling over. Square is not really rolling over. PayPal is relatively weak today.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, PayPal's down 1.5 today. And I just got a blast of cold air there.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm grabbing a tea when Frank comes on because it just got cold here for all of a sudden. But PayPal, look at the lower highs in PayPal and check out the accumulation or consolidation or whatever term you want to use right here at 58.85. on PayPal. Now it's rolling over. The next consolidation, I'm going to look for a short entry on PayPal. This is relative weakness. Anything that's not at the high of the day is kind of weak. Anything busting VWAP to the downside while the market's at the high is relatively weak. If you're flat out just down today and you're in the right spaces, I think you're weak. So, PayPal, I don't know why it's weak today. To be honest with you, I almost don't care. It's more important that this is a weak name. And if I'm looking for some fade plays, if it gets back to 58.80, I'd probably take the short. I'm just assuming it doesn't get there. I'm looking for that one to the sell side. Oh, we still have, we're going to talk crypto. I could have left this for crypto. Let's go back to the desk.
Yeah, a little bit more quiet today as far as some of these crypto markets pausing, let's call it, on the way up. But as I said earlier, Coinbase kind of hanging out here where it ended the day yesterday. Quickly goes red to green and then right back down here this afternoon. That's Bitcoin 2 days in a row on the red side of things on the daily chart. But after such a ramp up, to be expected, I would think.
It is ETH's turn, Brendo, to take the reins here. Have a look at this chart here on Ethereum. We were at 2,200 and change yesterday, and now we were knocking the door of 2,350. It's up 3.5%. So cycling in here while Bitcoin retraces 1 1/3. So nice move up for ETH and flat really on some of these equity crypto related names.
Yeah, overall, it's been a bit of a pause kind of a day. The rundown, as always, guys, check them out. Brought to you by our friends over at Trade Ideas. If you have not done so, take advantage right now. Bottom right corner of the screen, use that QR code. 25% off from us. TraderTV.live. Gets you access to the web app version, gets you access to the downloadable desktop version as well. Shout out to Trade Ideas.
Yes, sir. Always shout out to Trade Ideas as many times as we can. But just very quickly, because I mentioned, I just took underneath 128 on AMD, but this is Coinbase breaking down 135. So 135 support at lunch, holds VWAP, breaks down, holds under 135. This looks like a solid breakdown trade. I just actually feel when I looked at Square, PayPal, and Coin and some of the usuals that I trade, this looks the weaker of the two. It's not at VWAP yet, but down that 1.5 in a clear zone of resistance. Back to AMD. AMD just did this hammer under 128. So it broke 128 for a split second. There was a refresher at 128. If it bounces here and there's still a seller at 128 even, I think I want to add to it. If not, then I'm only giving this to the high of the day, and I still think like this is first stop 127.40. And then from there, 126.50. So AMD, that's the first big pullback. But remember, every other big pullback has actually been a buying opportunity in AMD. We'll see what happens here. I'm still in Nikola. I guess we can get to that at some point. And there was, Tesla. It's weird, man. Tesla not on the rundown at all today. But Tesla relatively strong this morning. It's starting to give it back up. That 243, it was a good area, but it wasn't exact resistance. It never perfectly set up the first time through, but I'm going to slap a fail on myself for this. I said 243 when we left, so it broke. That's fine. You don't have to short 243 here when it's super strong, but when the stock looks weak and puts in a lower high at said price, that's when you got to get into the bad boy. So, I'll slap the fail on myself. I like the level for a turnaround in Tesla. It gave you that chance, but that was right at noon, and you had to take it the second time. Like sometimes you look for confirmation, be willing to see weakness at the price you're looking for, and sellers underneath. And if we get back to 243 on Tesla, maybe there'll be a trade. That's if it even gets there. I'm not sure that even happens at this point. That's a good look.
Yeah, meanwhile, we just shorted what used to be a crypto name. There it is. Let's go. Let's put another dub on the board here. It's NVIDIA. We joined the party. It's 50 cents in the money. I was just like, you know what? Forget about AMD. I mean, I'm in the short as well. But look at NVIDIA here. We found a level. Look how easy you get 50 cents on NVIDIA. Let's see if it goes even further than that. We're going to give it to the high. It may blow up in our face, no idea, but here we go. Let's see what happens with NVIDIA back down to the downside. AMD as well, printing a little bit here. Let's see. NVIDIA would be great to get it anywhere. All right, let's just put a bid at 63s, I guess, right now on NVIDIA. 463 is what we're talking about. 463. Let's go 463.17. All right, we'll put a bid right there, see if it comes back in. There it is again, and it's an instant 70 cents in the money now for NVIDIA. So there it goes, man. Let's wait to see what's good on that one. As they say, hey, you know what's good in the hood? It's this one right now as well.
Oh, my God.
Thank you, whoever that was, the voice, of course, because I hit it. There goes Palantir. We just gave this one to you as well. Hopefully we are, well, not hopefully, we are short now at 33s. And we just took a 27. It's not a great fill, but hopefully we are going to be bouncing off. It looks like maybe the 200 period. Who knows? Let's see if that hits. We do have another bid at 25. At least I'm supposed to. Yes, I do. Let's see where that one goes for now. I'm going to ring the register one more time on NVIDIA if we're lucky enough to get that fill. It just bounced off 464 right there. Again, I know AMD's working now a little bit, not that much. But again, the idea here is that in a strong, I'm just looking at it because I have it up on multiple screens here. On a strong, what's up, Trade Ideas? All as well with you. I just, when a stock is relatively strong and you're kind of playing against the trend, obviously, as we sort of discussed right here, taking profit when profit is there is not a horrible idea. Also waiting for a bigger move. So if I can get this fill, we'll cancel our 463 and then really wait to see if we get a move down. And then remember, like I said before, it's just about, you got to have these and I think it was Adair that maybe asked us this on the show, but it's like, you got to be aware of sort of the risk that is built into your own system. And for me right now, like, that just went pretty quick there. I've learned my lessons on AMD with shorting, and getting blown up. So of course we're short again, but that's why we're taking that profit on AMD or on NVIDIA, and we're just going to see what's up with that right now.
Oh,
so,
you gotta.
Hopefully that will be.
You gotta lean into that one, because you know how he says it. What's up with that?
Yeah, what's up with that? And you can say, how could she slap? There's lots of different things, but all right, so that's it. I'm net short everything. I'm short Apple, AMD, NVIDIA, Palantir. We don't have a red mark on as far as the net is concerned, but we have screwed up shorting AMD all the way up. So right now we're back into the short. We're short in 87s, but as Neil might have mentioned there, I'm going to wait for a little bit more of a pullback than this.
Just quickly, because this just, like I said, if there was a seller and a refresher at 128, I would get back in. I keep trying to get rid of this wick and it comes back. So the scaling is going to suck on AMD. Suffice to say, it didn't print 117 an hour ago. But on the way down, a 128 breakdown, and I find when something's going parabolic, sometimes it's easier to join the short that's already there than try to make the top, which is what's happening. But it got to the 50 level, took some out. It then got back to 128. It broke it, saw 01s on the offer, and within a split second, it was back at 95. So that's a re-entry at 95 for me, and then I'm gonna try and scalp it right back into these, like, I guess, like low 60s, high 50s to get some profit. There we go. And then I still think next level down, this 126.5 on AMD. Now, why this? Because this stock spent the entire lunchtime, for an hour and a half, holding 126 to 126.5. So what I say is, maybe there's some buyers there. And if there's buyers there, I'm getting the heck out of Dodge on this stock. So it's finally going to the downside. We'll try to ring Reggie. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get this PayPal anywhere close to 58, 80. Like, this isn't really bouncing off VWAP to give you a lower high to short again. So I suppose the next setup would be like break down under VWAP and maybe consolidate under, and then play that for the weakness if there is any further on PayPal. So you got to take the profit where it is. Otherwise, you will end up in the gates of hell. Because it's a counter trend trade. And I always look at it this way. If you're counter trend trading, which AMD obviously is, then you've got to have specific rules for how many times you're going to take it, where is your out going to be. Like, at this point, here's what I'm not giving it to the high of the day right now. If this thing breaks 128 and gets past like 10s, I think it's getting back to the high. If I see 128.10, I'm out. Like, I go from wanting to risk 1-to-1 down here about 40 pennies to now wanting to risk 15. Because if it gets back above 128, that's insane how strong it is, and there's no need to give it that kind of room. Now, I understand some people would not change it. It's just like, yeah, I'm giving it to the high of the day. But what I've found is going counter trend, once it makes the move and looks like you've got a good short level, if it doesn't do what you expect after a couple of shots, I just give it and say it's getting to the high, and I'm not gonna hold it to that high. And I learned that lesson the best actually during the meme stock days. because I found like that was a lesson. If you didn't save yourself those extra points, you get yourself destroyed. Like how many times you're shorting like DWAC, just because it's the example I want to think of right now. It's like I just get out and save yourself an extra 30 cents. It would get to that wick anyways, and getting out before it got to the high was just inevitably saving you money. So that's AMD. ARM is cruising, but not, unfortunately, it did not give me a re-entry. So this time, if ARM bounces off VWAP again, I'm out. I will respect the strength in ARM at that 62 quarter and just get out of it. I did not get the reload, so I'm not even offering it at this point. Either it gets down there or not. Zach saying GME making moves, apes gather. You're right, it is. Really should have stuck with this long too. It happens. There's something about making, when you get a bad wick, the response isn't, oh my goodness, I shouldn't have got out of that trade. No. You have a stop, you have a stop. What it should be is, do I see a reason to get back into the trade? If answer yes, go in. That's it. Doesn't matter what happened in the last trade. Oh man, look at me. Look at how bad that wick is. Woe is me. No, Neil, shut up and get long 15 again. Now GameStop is GameStop. I said GameStop. GameStop is breaking higher. So shout out to anybody that held on to this. I will tell you this right now. I know with 100% certainty that I paper hands these meme stocks because I generally speaking always think there's going to be a big massive pullback at some point. So I know in the back of my head I have to look for reasons to get back in the trade. Like go long again. I have to do that because I'm never holding it all day long. Never. I don't do it. I'm not holding DWAC all day long. I'm not holding AMC all day long. I'm not holding GameStop all day long. So I have to find places to get back into the stock. And then that way I can scratch the itch of this stock should be going down, not up, and not have to worry about fighting the trend. So GameStop looks like it wants to get to 16. Turper saying, would you look at RVLV? Yeah, sure. I haven't looked at that stock at all today. So give me a second to go over Revolve Group.
Yeah, I remember we posted something up on Twitter that one day for DWAC. That was, I think that might have been, I think Tesla was a large winner, but I think we got like a $90 winner or something that day. It just kept on halting up. It was absolutely insane.
That was the funware day. Yeah.
Yeah, that was insane. I remember we were going crazy over here. I'll find that and see if I can retweet it. But I just said, man, risky business happening right now. If you're going to follow me at Trader TV, Sean, as I'll post up all these ideas here as well. Risky business shorting NVIDIA, and then we also go back into shorting PLTR. So I highlighted earlier that, like, you know, we went long early, and now we're going short again right now as Palantir continues to fall back down in. So again, just more fun happening. Let's see what goes. Here comes Palantir pulling back down. That's a nice.
You got to put shades on when you say risky business.
Yeah, we will for Tom Cruise. A nice move to the downside right here as well for AMD as we just reshorted that one and covered. I'm going to wait to see if we can get the dream on this trade, as we just talked about that as well. Let's see if this can move down back in. Look at the market retracing back. Look at NVIDIA pulling back in as well. This is the first time we ever shorted this one here today. The only trade on board today for that. And then, again, we're just going to wait. Palantir, next bid, 20s. Next bid, 15s. Finite. That's it. Let's see if we can get that. Let's not get too excited here, but you know, playing the pullback, and it's good, man. We did take a couple L's there with AMD, but we didn't do anything else. And then look what's happening with Apple. This is a good trade as well. We don't have nearly the hundreds of shares that we had up there. I wish it was thousands, but it's close enough. Now you're trying to get back to the bottom again. 194.15, 194.16, something like that. Like, I'm not trying to. When you get in a zone, like, you're not trying to play around. So let's see if this can get back in for us right now with Apple. So that's what I'm going to do. I feel like this could be a good bid, but honestly, I want to wait for 194.
Look at the support on it.
All the way back. Yeah, there's a lot
94.
of support.
No, I meant 94, not this.
Yeah, I just think we could break even lower. That's 193.80. There's 94 right there. So we're going to wait around and see. I don't have a bid there, but I think we probably should. I'm more concerned, honestly. I have more shares in Palantir right now than anything else. So this is going to be the one that I'm most concerned with, which is why we're taking a bunch out here at the 200 period moving average. So far, so good, man. Apple, you know, Apple's a positive trade for us. AMD's a positive P&L for us today. Maybe I can zoom this out so you can see the charts. Amazon today, positive trade. Wow, Amazon, as if, dude. Bottom of Amazon, stupid. Google today, come on. obviously. There's NVIDIA, we're in that right now. Palantir, we're in it. And then Rivian, man. Rivian was, so we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for 7 today. It's kind of a fluke. But look at this, look at Rivian. You out a little too soon, bro. But that's just the kind of day it's been. What's up to Thomas Johnson? What's up to everybody else out there? I hope you're really enjoying the show. We do have Frank coming on very, very soon.
Before we go to that,
spit knowledge. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I got to go over this RVLV.
I buy NVIDIA.
I'm sure there's news for this, but up 10%. This is the daily chart. Here's your resistance. I mean, it's right here, right now, 15.5. Let's call it. I mean, these wicks are 15.40, but the more important thing is Revolve has a 25% short float and a 40 million float. It's the volume is maybe the issue here. It's on less than 1 million shares, but this is a parabolic mover that actually has squeeze potential if it breaks 1550. It's just the volume is not. It's not great, but most of the volume has just come into the stock through that breakout right now. So it's got some room to run. I've never traded this before, and I don't see any news on it. So I don't have any sense for. It has a 1 cent spread right now. Let's see what happens when it breaks out the top. I'm not sure it's going to have a 1 cent spread based on the amount of volume that it has in there today. But it's consolidating up there. I don't like chasing things at the high of the day. I'd rather look for like maybe some kind of a pullback. Oh, and it's 2:47, which means we're 2 minutes overdue right now for one of our favorite guests and a friend of the show. And don't worry, Frank, your hair looks fantastic. Let's go to the desk, Mr. Frank Aberna.
How dare we keep Frank 2 minutes behind schedule here. Good to see you, as always. It is a busy week heading into a busy week as we head towards non-farm payrolls at the end of the week on Friday, obviously. We'll get to that in a sec. But CPI coming up on Tuesday. We get the Fed, obviously, next week on Wednesday. So a lot to discuss here. Let's break down what's going to happen tomorrow morning at 8:30, obviously, to kick things off here. We've had 2 prints this week on the job side of things that have come in below expectations, and significantly, it's worth noting, below what was expected. The market continues to march higher, as we have seen over the past couple of days. I mean, a little choppy, but overall pretty positive. Is there something that we can take from what has happened in the past? We always get these, it's worth noting, 3 or 4 job-related data points heading into NFP on a monthly basis. Is there a correlation here?
You know, it's funny, Brendan. Of course, you would want to say yes, but I have to say, at least anecdotally, in the last year, we've seen multiple occurrences of the JOLTS number coming out under, and then the non-farm number on Friday coming out over. And obviously, the market thinks that there is a correlation because given these 2 unders that we've seen so far this week on employment week, so to speak, they've already priced in some downside to U.S. rates and some downside to U.S. dollar here going into tomorrow's number, especially dollar getting hit here Thursday afternoon going into tomorrow morning's number. And so in my mind, no, I can't assign a correlation here, but the market at this point is pricing in a slight under. And so you take all these things into account going into tomorrow's number, the fact that it's expected to be 180, but given the movement that we've seen in the last week here, I would say that the number is actually closer to probably 150, 160, meaning that if we get a non-farm number tomorrow morning that is in the 150, 160 range, I think we might get a knee-jerk reaction out of the stock market, interest rate market, Forex market, and beyond. But at the end of the day, nothing really doing. That being said, if we get, 180, 190, 200, you might actually see a little bit of reversal for that stock market, interest rate market, and U.S. dollar market that we've seen the last 24 to 48 hours here, given the other employment data that's come out. So, yeah, I think that I'm going to go into tomorrow's number. I'm going to trade tomorrow's number with the idea being that this doesn't have to come in under, even though the JOLTS and the ADP numbers both came in under this week. Because I mean, you could correct me if you have a dissenting opinion here, but I feel like there's been multiple occurrences this year already where the JOLTS number has said under or over, and non-farm has come out the other direction.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And to a point where, you would get the JOLTS number one direction, ADP the other direction, and then, non-farm just kind of whatever it wants to be. So that's kind of why I asked, because to this point, I can't remember a time when it has felt like going into non-farm payrolls that there at least should be some sort of trend in that direction. That is, the feeling that we've been getting over the past couple of weeks here. But let's talk about rates. We've been discussing over the past week or so. It's no longer really a question of if, but when and how much. Now we're looking at possibly even 50 basis points when we start cutting.
It's crazy, like we say, between this employment data and you throw out the interest rate market that we've seen in the last month here, everybody seems to be on the side of lower employment data, lower inflation data, and lower interest rates, which does kind of scare me a little bit, because we've seen this story a couple of times over the course of the last 2 or 3 years, which has been an interest rate hiking environment by and large. It's been one direction. And so we'll see if all of this data does come in to confirm, this recent tide that's turned here for rates. And here I have the Fed funds futures. Wanted to go a little bit behind the scenes in terms of what the Fed watch tool that has become so relevant to traders all over the globe, trading equities and everything else. That comes from the CME's Fed Watch, Fed Funds futures, which literally have an expiration, a futures expiration that lines up with the week of every FOMC meeting that's on the calendar. And the pricing there is 100 minus the futures price, gives you the expected rate at that meeting. And you can see we got down to 5.5%. And you remember we were on here talking a few months ago, back in September, October range, there was still another hike on the table. We're at 5.25% right now. And that tide has turned pretty consistently for the last month to 2 months of trading. And now here are the March futures aligning with the March meeting, because we could talk about next week's meeting if we want, but this is what everybody's watching going into next week's meeting is, will Powell lead the audience here to a potential rate cut in March? Because if he goes with it, if we get, a non-farm payrolls number tomorrow that's under, Fed Chair Powell starts talking about how he feels good about inflation and they're looking at normalizing rates lower in 2024, then you'll likely see this market here price in an even greater chance right now, around 50-60% chance of a rate cut in March. These futures would potentially move higher off of that, price in an increasingly high chance of rate cuts in March and then beyond in 2024. And that's been feeding and fueling a lot of the stock market rallies. So tomorrow, a huge point for those futures and the future of interest rates there. And obviously stocks and Forex have been taking a lot from that exact market. Everybody's eyes on March FOMC, even though we have December FOMC in just a few days.
Yeah, and it's I'm glad you brought that chart, because it's a great point to make to everyone, and a learning point in the sense that this is partially, anyways, where this data is coming from. And you may hear me from time to time on the show referencing the Fed funds futures instead of the CME Fed watch tool. But just going out over this jobs data tomorrow, you brought this chart of that CME Fed funds tool. Indicating, we get a print over, we get a print under, obviously both directions come into play here.
Yeah, because again, why do we keep talking about March when we're in December? It's because the odds are split of what's going to go on in March. The odds are near 100%, as close as you get to 100%, of no change in next week's meeting. But in next week's meeting, there will be a tell of what's going to come in 2024. And so you see this even split. And if you can't read the fine print there on the Fed Watch tool, go check it out. CME's got a great tool there. But what's displaying is essentially a 50% chance of no change in rates, and that's to the right side of that graphic. And so if we get that 180K number, it's in line or potentially higher, then maybe the Fed isn't so quick to cut rates. If that number does come in under, like a lot of the data has come out in the US over the course of the last month or so, then odds potentially shifting further in that direction of an interest rate cut as soon as March. And so all this data that'll come out over the next couple of days, especially this non-farm, I think you and I would agree that the employment data is the one piece that seems like it could really surprise more than anything. It seems like inflation has been so measured in its month-to-month decline of, a tenth of a percent, 0.2% every month for more than the last year. Employment has been the one that has zigzagged a little bit, but obviously the last 2 months has been lower. Whereas the months prior, we've seen non-farm payrolls in the 200, 300K handle there. And so this is going to be a really big one here. And I know definitely one that Powell will be watching prior to next week's meeting.
Yeah, markets in general, I think definitely going to react to this tomorrow morning when it does come out. There was a portion of that, even though we did get a couple of downticks, as you mentioned there, in the past reports, there was a portion of those that it seems like all the Fed members keep pointing to, and that was the wage aspect. There was still not an increase, but the real wages essentially not coming down in correlation with the overall number, and they were still saying, see, that's the real problem here that we continue to see in the employment side of things. So on that hawkish note, I wanted to also get your thoughts here on what happened this week on this side of the border with the Bank of Canada coming out, holding, as no one was surprised about, everyone was expecting that, but also saying, we're not convinced that the fight is over, and we're not convinced that inflation still isn't a problem, and don't tempt us because we'll raise again if we have to.
Yeah, definitely a little bit more confidence out of the Canadian central bank this week than the Australian central bank is. Yeah, Australian dollar went back close to lows against USD, although it's been bouncing back pretty good here today. We'll see how much of this is posturing. I always think it's a funny piece here. Obviously, I'm partial to the Forex market, one of my favorite markets to trade out of all the asset classes, because it's this game of relativity constantly. And yeah, the news out of Japan this morning, another one here as we throw up that dollar yen chart. It's a game of relativity, right? And now you have all of these central banks, and I shouldn't say all because excluding Japan, over the course of the last 2 years, the US, Canada, Australia, the Euro area, UK, everybody's been hiking over the course of the last 2 years. And now everybody wants to keep their currency and everything in relative check as they turn over. And so I think the idea is globally rates are turning over here. But it's always interesting to me that it'll happen in the US one week, and then the next week, the Euro area or Australia will say essentially the same thing. And you'll get a lot of moves reversing because of that. They're essentially canceling out in that currency market. Japan, one place that is not trending in the same direction. Japan, an economy that has not hiked interest rates at all in the last decade, essentially. They've actually had negative interest rates since 2016. And just this morning, central banker out of Japan announcing that, not announcing, but alluding to the fact that they are likely to lift off of that negative 10 basis points that they've been stuck at for the last several years. And this would be, the first rise in interest rates, the first positive rates from Japan since 2015. And if you've heard any stories in Forex the last couple of years, it's probably been the fact that either one, euro got down to parity, but yen has been the lowest prices you've seen for yen against the dollar, against the euro, against all those other major currencies in the last 30 years. This would be absolutely nuts if everybody is moving in the southern direction for rates and Japan is going to actually hike into this global cut that you see out of the US and Euro area and Australia and potentially Canada. Yeah, we'll see how much of that was posturing here this week, because definitely relative strength in Canadian dollar versus some of those other markets like Australian dollar and euro. Pound's been really strong, but yeah, we'll see. 2024 is going to be so interesting. It seems like everybody's going to be moving lower in rates. Will the U.S. be the most elastic to the downside, and will Japan end up hiking into these global cuts? So much on the table for those Forex markets.
How Japan of them if they were to do that, going the opposite direction of everyone else. No, and the key point with our economy, which is just quickly, which is fascinating to me anyways, our economy is nowhere near as strong as the U.S. at this point. You know, we had 2 negative prints in a row on the GDP scale. So for them to come out this week and, you know, make those comments the way they did was pretty telling as far as what is to come. Great stuff. Frank Caberna, Director of Strategy over at IG.com in Chicago. A pleasure as always. Thank you.
Thanks, Brennan.
Thank you very much, Frank. And well, I mean, the markets themselves didn't push higher, but I can tell you AMD, because it's AMD, it just made another top here, 128.55, and it has a chance to break it right now. So shout out to anyone that's still long it. I got out of my short one. Wow. I got out of my short when 128 got broken back up again. I said if it gets back up there after not rolling over here into 126.50, that it's probably getting to the high of the day. Wish I could tell you I reversed long, but I didn't. I want to shout out to Frank, because I know he's a sell sider. I'm going to make, here's my call. I don't know if he's not listening anymore. I was going to tell him that he should make a prop bet. The second Ohtani signs in the American League, with Soto in the AL, and with Ohtani possibly going to the AL, I'm hoping he goes to the Jays. Luis Robert for MVP next year, I think is going to be a great value bet, because nobody's going to be looking at that guy with all these big heavy hitters coming in. Ohtani's hurt. Luis Robert's a bit of a beast, but that's just my little baseball rant. AMD 10%. What else can you say about this? Except, wow. That's all. I'm into PayPal. I mentioned that I put it in the chat, obviously, when Frank was in there. Clearly, if I had chased this move and not waited for the top, or maybe taken it above VWAP, it would have worked out. But I was looking for a consolidation under VWAP. That just happened. It's now put on a wick at like 52, which is good, because my stop is it's a few cents higher than that. So, I mean, it's a relatively tight stop, but PayPal is relatively weak. If 16,000 goes, I think we can see the low of the day here. But 16,000's got to go. This market is showing some serious signs of resilience out there. Beatrice telling me that Tellurian is running. I only look because nat gas stinks, and this is under $1 still. Okay, 65 cents. Oh yeah, my truck crash was doing that thing again. Yeah, Tel is much more interesting at the 80 level, I do think. But the chips are where the game is today. Oh, and GameStop. That's the other one. GameStop, for now, resistance at 16, but not a ton of it. If this takes out 16 even, there's still 45 minutes to go till imbalances. We have almost an hour left in the day. It's weird. Like, if you hear us reference how much time's left and we reference it towards 350, it's because of the imbalances. We know the market closes at 4. It's just in my head, I always think you have till 350 for some of these moves. At least that's the way I approach it. But a 16 break, I'd probably go tight stop because it's late in the day, but that's a big enough level on GameStop.
All right, what's up to everybody? All right, so Palantir has, thanks Frank, again, man. I mean, I don't know, I feel like we'd be lost without that guy and Brendan. I mean, this fixed income stuff and rates and expected by the Fed and all that, like that's all part of trading, man. The dollar and everything, like and I was actually talking with Mateo in the back there as we get set up for a few other things. It's just like, that is such an important part, and it's really where like I'm deficient, is like understanding all of that the way that somebody like Frank or Brendo does. It's like that's
all day traders.
That's what we're talking about, right? So it's like get the right people in for that. So thank you, Frank, and I feel like I'd be lost without that dude. Okay, so I like that. AMD, like again, okay, we honestly. Like, I'm just going to try it. This is the last time. Our net is still fluctuating.
Did you get an offer on your personal account up there? I'm offering 129.50.
No.
Okay.
I'm not. I've decided, honestly, I'm not selling anything else anymore, ever, pretty much. I'll sell some in my swing trade account. I don't have any of this. But in my long term, I really, really think that AI is, I mean, this might be a good time. I just don't see right now maybe next earnings. I don't know. Anyways,
the only thing I do
I just don't have an answer.
The only thing I do in my long term is it's weird because you could just trade ETFs if you have this issue.
Look at AMD, by the way.
It's starting to come back in. If I own too much of one sector, look to pair it off. So I got out of some Lilly because I had too much in healthcare. And now because of what's happening with NVIDIA, Intel went as well. And then AMD's been going. I'm now a little bit overweight to what I want. So I'm trimming some, and that's the only reason.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, I think repositioning is fine.
That's about it. That's the only reason.
I mean, like I got out of Shopify, Google, like not Google, I shouldn't say Google. Shopify, Netflix. They've all been mistakes. They're all higher now. But, it doesn't really matter. I just don't have any, so my whole thing is like I don't have any ideas other than cash. So until this market kind of calms down.
I usually put it in the index though.
Yes.
Sell and I put it in the index.
I like to put it in the SMH. Okay, so right now, just quickly there, like that was okay. What's up with that again? Because like there's the big move down and we just sat there and got this. Like it almost justifies whatever's gonna happen now because we already got a fill down there. So like now it's again house money on this trade because there we go with the short. Our average price now is 38. I think it was 31 before we got that fill. But anyways, so now just a little pop above 60 and we're kind of playing with house money. We needed to get that fill or else this would have been an L if it takes out the top. Now it'll be a wash. And that goes to, again, taking profit when certain levels are hit, right? Palantir, again, we talked about this, and I can't interrupt, and we have Frank on, and nor will I ever do that. That just came in right into the level that we talked about into 20s. So let's go. Spin it one more time. That's it for Palantir today. Was we go long, then we go short. Have the ability as a trader. I know this is not learn to trade, but we're teaching every day anyways. It's have the ability to switch it up. We were definitely long bias early off that 17 level. Then we flipped over to short. Why did we flip short? We talked about that. It was up 1%. We've made 0.5%. Because I remember Palantir was up 1.1%, exactly half. So it's pulled back down in, and I was just saying, like, why is it not going? Like, the market was ripping, AMD was ripping, all things AI, blah, 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 and Palantir wasn't. So a lot of the time when you're going to look at the NASDAQ, you have to understand, and we all do here as traders, of course, and so do you guys because you're watching us, the weightings of these indexes, right? Just because the NASDAQ is making a move down doesn't mean that like all stocks in the NASDAQ are going to go that way. See Microsoft today. You're going to have to sometimes play the story or the rhetoric or the trend behind individual names, right? And so I know as we say that, AMD is going to break, going short is definitely going against the trend here. We're trying to catch like bigger moves, which is why obviously in hindsight, I wish I had all of the shares out right there, but why can't this collapse? AMD is up 10% today.
Pullback.
Pullback, yeah, but even just collapse.
Let's hope it doesn't.
I'll take a pullback.
Well, I only say because to me collapse would be like 125.
Okay.
But I want
see
this.
that.
At this point I selfishly want the stock to get to 130 by the end of the week. So like I kind of don't want it to completely collapse because I'd like to see it get to 130 for tomorrow or by tomorrow. Because tomorrow's Friday, so like that kind of a level optimal. Yeah. If it fails this high today and gets to 125, I don't think we see 130 tomorrow. But if it holds this like 127.5 or something along those lines again, that's all it is. But I think it's important, right? Like you got to scalp these levels because look, there's going to be pullbacks. When you're a trader, look, if you're not long, you're not long. And there's currently some resistance up there at 128.5 on the stock. So, you look at what the NASDAQ is doing, what the market's doing, the NASDAQ and the ES, you're pulling back from highs. 46K on the ES. I know it doesn't always matter, but you're pulling back off the top on the NASDAQ. It feels like there's some profit taking coming in. So I just think as a day trader, you're trading the quick short-term trades. Obviously, there's 50 minutes left to go in the day, so you got to find something that's out there. I should have taken, okay, I'm going to get to PayPal in a second. I have a bid pretty darn close. But Coinbase, okay, 135 was the key level. It's back above VWAP, but there's always a chance that this is a false break above VWAP, and it can get back underneath 135. So it's not really showing the weakness I would have liked under VWAP. PayPal did. Coinbase didn't. They're not exactly the same thing, but there are, in some ways, relatively weak stocks. So I'm not in this coin. We are in PayPal. I did want to jump to one other name that we probably do not talk about enough. I find that Block is a really good day trading stock that doesn't always get enough credit. So and I'm just pointing this out, like anybody can see this trend in the upside on block. But this is a pretty unabated move to the ups. It's not parabolic outside of one day. Nothing's too far out of the pocket. And when you look at it on the daily, if it gets past 70, there's room to the next level up at 75. Like block has been on a tear. There's no other way to look at it. And I think coming into tomorrow, this is the 70 level. It's going to try and hold the top end here today on another strong day, even when it looked like it was weak to open the day. This tomorrow, if 70 breaks and I don't try to go long on block, then I'll be upset with myself. If I lose on a long trade at block on a 70 breakout, that's fine. But with a trend like that and a level like this on a Friday, I think it's worth the shot. So I'm going to put it on my iPad, and then and tomorrow you guys can at me all you want. If I don't take the 70 break, then I better have a really darn good excuse, or maybe I was like up in the bathroom or something along those lines. Because this stock has been going up and up and up, and even when it makes a pullback, all it does is break out the following day. So square, block, whatever you want to call it, this stock is strong, and strong stocks you want to go long, and weak stocks you want to go short. And I say that, everyone's like, well, Neil, that's obvious. You know what? If it's so obvious, then why do we all struggle with it? That's the thing I can't tell you. So Sean and I have been trading a long time, but we own our own floor. We've risk managed this floor. I cannot tell you the number of times where you have like a downward trending day, and usually it's worse if it's a downward trending day than an upward trending day. On a downward trending day, with about 11:30 to 12 o'clock, right around lunchtime, and almost everybody's net long because everyone's trying to catch a bottom. Now the thing about it is buying the dip is really good in your long term because you just buy and hold it, but sometimes fighting the trend is going to get you into trouble. And everybody does it. It's just a matter of the days that you're doing it, limit it, and find ways to limit losses and reverse where you can and try to join the trend. You don't have to catch it right away. I was late to get long in GameStop today, but I was down on it. It was my worst stock at about 10 o'clock, and then I was able to get green on it because I went long. I wouldn't have happened if I had gone short unless I somehow was perfect and caught the top, which would have been a total fluke had I done it anyways. If I had gotten this high on GameStop, I can tell you right now, I thought 16 was the top. If I had shorted this level that I didn't have conviction in and made it all back here, kind of a fluke because that's not the one I actually believed in. So it would have rewarded me, but the market's willing to reward you for doing things that aren't smart. PayPal, as I said, if Coinbase had set up this way, I would have taken Coinbase, but PayPal did. It just got to the 30s, took 1-to-1. I'll get it out at low of the day, and then I want to hold for the hopeful bottom because the NASDAQ's strong. We're actually ticking and holding 16,000. The ES, same thing, pulling back, and this is falling like a rock. Okay, it's not really a rock, but it's relatively weak. Trade relative strength and weakness. It's going to help you a lot. Just an update on this Nikola trade. So there was a buyer at 76 before. It looks like there's a buyer at 76 again. I got some more shares out at 76.5. I have bids in front of 75, 74, and oddly enough, 72.5. Just reminding myself why I like 72.5. I don't think I should. Yeah, 72.5 doesn't matter. I'm probably just picking a number. I know what it is. I'm picking a number between 75 and 70 and then just shot halfway to get all of it out. But this is another relatively weak stock. There was an offering today on Nikola. That's why it's down 22% if you're just tuning in. And it failed the dollar level, which I'm usually thinking when you do a flat bottom break like this on Nikola is 50 cents. I wouldn't get too complicated about this, but I'm thinking this stock short. Look for those setups, and if we hit 50 cents on Nikola, I'd probably at least attempt a long off the 50 cent level. Because usually it'll set up some kind of a 2 cent risk, 5 to 10 cent reward trade. Doesn't mean it's going to have to work, but when it gets down there, I'm probably thinking long. And I just said if Nikola gets down to 50 cents, it's probably going to get there.
Yeah, I think it'll probably get to zero. But
you think?
I do. So AMD right here. No, sorry, not AMD. Apple. That's all right. I just took some profits on two names, Apple and Palantir. So let's regroup. Okay, so Palantir broke, and I mean, let's just go, oh my God, because now we're really cooking. So this is good, man. Downside, here we go. Again, shout out to Dak, of course. I'm never saying that again, hopefully. 16 cents now in the money against the risk. I feel like this is good. Taking profits as profits lie. So far, so good on this one. Apple, that was the other one. So Apple of my eye, we just updated that one. We've been going short up here at 195. Let's just spin it. Whether or not this gets to $1 or not, I feel like this is good enough. So we're going to hit that. I know it's not $1, it's 83 cents, but hopefully it'll get back into 180 cents. Hopefully this will come back in to
It's the principle that matters.
Yeah,
Don't
it
worry
is.
about the round
Principle
number.
is priceless. Let's wait to see. And then right now, AMD. So we just got some more fills again on the downside. We are waiting for more right now. 128.40s, things like that. We could have just got out almost for flat. But like I said, we're going to try to see if there's a little bit of pullback here into the end of the day. Not a maximum risk position. And I'm laughing at myself now because we had this name all purple shorts. So I'm going to look like, and the funny thing, I'm laughing because our net is really, we don't have a lot of risk. We have enough risk to make money on it, but we're holding more shares and not scalping out. We're trying to see if this will pull back down, right? So here's the long. This is where all the money was made early. Long there, and out. $2, $3 shorts, making money short until up here. We have not done well shorting these tops, just not believing in this. But again, all these greens are the outs. And it's not a disaster by any stretch of the imagination. I have a good little something to tell you guys here. For the first time ever today, we're doing something brand new on Trader TV Live. The market recap show is going to be streamed on Twitter. So we're going to stream it live on X. It's also going to be streamed live on, I was wondering if that was Randy there catching me. Also going to be streamed live on YouTube and on Twitter. So some people have been messaging me saying they're getting like little live updates. It's not live yet. It will be live later on as we expand and grow there. So shout out to everybody that's working behind the scenes for that one. Live on Twitter tonight. If you're not watching on YouTube and you just like the platform better, I'm not sure how it's going to work, but that's what we're doing. Find it at Trader TV Live or at Trader TV Sean. We should be able to get you there. So brand new thing. There we go. That's it. So boom, more exposure. Go wherever you want on that one. All right. So that's that. I just want to give that a little bit of a detail there. NVIDIA, again, we're still holding a third. This is about, so again, because we're holding a third, we're net up on this name. But because it's right here. So we've already taken, we were short there at 60s, out at 15, or it was 13s both times right there. So nice outs, same price. I'm going to try it again against this. We're going to short 465 again. All that I'm thinking about here is into the close, we could give some back. And if we do that, then great. We've already picked our poison here with Palantir, and I'm out of about 75% of this trade. We've hit our goal. And when you hit goals, that's where you get out. So it's right back into the low of the day, basically. We would love to get 10s, but honestly, this is fine for me up at this level. So far, so good on this trade. Rivian was such a great trade for us here today, but again, we don't capture the biggest. I'm thinking about this could possibly be a short here on Rivian. You're coming right back into this level, looking at a potential short for Rivian. The problem is I'm net short. Here we go, baby. I'm net short everything. Did AMD just, okay, so, all right. It looks like I actually had a bid there and there. So we did take some out on the way back out. We talked about scalping this, but I have no more bids. We're holding this for a move down. We talked about scalping it out. It's 320. Let's now hold for the dream and cancel. Well, I don't have any other bids. So hopefully this will fall back in now. I like this trade. We're short on AMD. It's 20 cents in the money. The risk we had was breaking the high of the day. Let's hold on to AMD and see if we can make this spin down there at 128 flat. Palantir's going, NVIDIA's back in the money, and we're at the highest spot we've been at all day. It's a green day for us here today, and I hope everyone has been happy with the show, but make sure you do join me after for the after show today. I'm going solo today, so we'll have a lot of fun. We'll talk about some tweets. We'll look at Lululemon earnings coming. Again, the name that I will never short. We've talked about that. Lululemon 463 really, really working. Nice job for Lulu. We have AVGO as Broadcom, $1,000 name. This is coming out tonight as well. And then I think there was one more big one that I was, Dollar General. Wait, there's two more big ones.
Two.
Yeah, so there's Dollar General, which It's not a day trading stock for me. We've never really done that, but again, another great name that's really in the retail spot that's been going up. Let me give you a little bit of background here for DG because I'm not sure what the short float is. Nothing. So 2.7. So this is again another name that you can probably get aggressive with tomorrow on earnings. And then the very last one is get your legal documents ready to go because it is DocuSign. And this is another name with Kathy's ARC. As that continues to get stronger and stronger, so does the ARC. So we'll wait to see what happens here with Docu. This one, I believe, has a decent short float, and I'm wrong. No, that's ARC.
Yeah,
EOCU.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Why does it go to ARC Document Solutions? That's hilarious. Like, okay, Docu. No. Okay.
What? Only 3?
Yes,
I thought
only
it was
3.
I thought it was more like 7 or 8.
All right.
All right.
Maybe not much there as DocuSign continues to work, and so do these shorts, man. And then there it comes back in right now. Let's see if we can get a 128 flat fill down here. I feel like we should be able to get something like that.
So I have a new position. It's going to be GameStop, and 16 would have been great. If there were buyers above 16, I probably would have taken this breakout, but this is what happened on a 16 break. It wicked it got to 08, and then immediately failed underneath. So, you know, wick top. Short underneath here. I don't even want this thing getting past 16 even, and I'm getting out of support and then previous high into support at 15.45. I reloaded PayPal as well. I was just asked though a couple of questions. One was Virgin Galactic. Is it a good short? Which is a strange question because I don't know. Like if you mean right now, it's done not a great amount of volume and it's not really moving either. So short answer, no, not right now because I can't think of a reason to trade it. And it's not even at a big level. So it's actually breaking this very barely. And I would think the 30s level would make more sense for a reverse. You know, look at the daily chart, like, you know, kind of let it get another 5 to 10%. And that would seem like a short level. Anyways, maybe they're getting a bump today. I don't even know why they're getting a bump. It could have something to do with SpaceX valuation being good. No idea why Virgin Galactic is up. The other thing was Dan McIsaac asking about why no halts on MLGO. So here's the thing. I know the stock is dying, but this is maybe the most gently sloped crash on a stock I've seen in quite some time. It did halt a couple times this morning, but look at this move. Where are the outsized candles on this in the 3-minute chart? Like nothing about this is out of control. It is just there's no bid and it's continuously falling to the downside. So it's not going to halt because there's no extreme moves within a short period of time, and that's what the halt bands are for. I say that and then it goes into a halt. Oh, what's the point? It just halted to the downside. Anyways, there's Emily. I'll show you what it looks like when the stock goes into a halt. Like literally just as I was talking about it, it actually halts to the downside. But we did talk about why you take profits on names like this if you get a chance. It's actually indicating opening up at 163. I'm not even sure why it halted. That doesn't even look like a volatility halt to me. Like if this is a volatility halt, then why the heck didn't it do that a million times today? So it's saying volatility when I go to NASDAQtrader.com. But if this move is a halt, then why aren't there should have been like a 10 other ones? So you're probably right there. Why is it not halting here? I don't have an answer for you. I don't make up the rules. That doesn't make sense to me either. That's not that big of a move on MLGO. And it's done that probably 15 times this afternoon, and none of those times did it halt. But we got to concern ourselves with what we're trading at the end of the day. So I just got into GameStop. I reloaded in PayPal here, looking for some pullbacks. And Dan's saying you saw that on the way up. You know what? Yeah, if you observe that, it's weird. I don't know what to tell you. It doesn't make sense to me either. Sorry to say. And we actually don't see the halt bands. Like we can see when on the level 2, it's obvious when you get to a halt band because on the level 2, like if it's a down halt, you'll see the offer stack up and then nothing prints further on the bid and the offer gets bigger because you can't hit the bid. So I'll know what's at a band because I see it on level 2. We don't actually see the bands on our level 2. We can just see the level 2, on our platform. We can just see the level 2 and know that it's going into a halt and then it has 15 seconds to either go up again or go into a halt state. So in this case, it obviously halted down. Okay, that's GameStop that I'm still on here. But I think we're still seeing pretty much the same thing for that MLGO stock. It's a 5-minute halt. We'll see what happens. It's indicating it's going to open up at 170. So that's not that big of a move. In context, it's like all the way down here. Like this was like $18 in the pre-market. I'll zoom way in so you can kind of see. Like that's 170 in here. Like if it's going to halt on these, it should have halted multiple times. Like where's the halt there? It dropped from 230 to 180. Like that's.
We said there were some examples yesterday of
that should have been a halt. Anyways.
Oh man, let's go, man. Let's props it up. Let's go spin the money right now. The day just continues, man. Look at AMD. I mean, look, this is the positions that we've just been sitting in here all afternoon, not only sitting in them, but trading them, giving you the guidance, hopefully, and showing you the way. And this is it right here for AMD. There it is, man. Someone, I think it was Amma there in the chat, asked me, why am I going short here? And I just said it's just for a replacement, just for a retracement back down. So here it is, man. 70 cents in the money on AMD, 40 cents in the money on NVIDIA, 15 cents in the money on PLTR. This is why, again, normally I'll give a little bit of money back here in the afternoon, to be honest with you. But today, no. This has been a great day. A lot of stuff happening and a lot of good movement because of some of the outsized plays. You have to look at names that are moving in order to get this, or else
Amazon.
You're just gonna, yeah, people, I heard people saying about Amazon. Where is the next stop though for AMD? Honestly, guys, look at this go, like again. Scared trader, someone said this in the chat there. They said they were a little too scared to take this short. And I've already talked about this before. Scared trader, flawed trader, something I learned in some of these random books that I'm listening to right now. And it's just like, you got to trade your plan. And if that's the plan, that's the plan. Like this last take, man, was about 15 cents worth of risk to the upside. That's a short at 50, right? So 15 cents or so to the top, does not get broken. And there it is. Now we're starting to spin it a little bit lower here on AMD. I don't have any bids, but why not right now? Let's see if we get something around 85, and there it is right there. Let's go for that move back in. What's not moving as aggressively is Palantir, so we started clearing out of that one right now. Our stop, I canceled. I put in a stop breaking 25. So if we break the 200 period moving average, we're gone on that one as well. But there it is, man. You're welcome, Daniel Adams, for trading in the zone. I'm still listening to that one as well. Thank you so much to John Von Sowers there. Great show. You are welcome. What's up to Ponzi Fonzie? Show you the money. I mean, hello. Yeah, we are doing that every day. And that's what it's all about, guys. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you're stacking a little bit today. It's been a pretty good one, that is for sure. But again, trade your own style and trade your own book. That is very, very important. Apple's still bouncing around 194.95. Not much happening there. SoFi up 1%. So what time is it? 3:30. I don't think there's going to be enough time to trade SoFi, but I'll give you a little bit of a look on it. This name, again, pretty sleepy a little bit here today. It does have that high of 815. The thing about SoFi is, I just bought, I bought at 718, I bought at 660, I'm not out. I think that we can get going here, but this does not really, I mean, lower. Now we're still making, again, another sort of lower high. I feel like this 9 area probably worth getting out and then just regrouping on SoFi. That's probably something I'm going to wind up doing on that name. So we'll wait to see if there's any love there. And I have not reloaded Palantir, although I'm talking about trading it right now.
But personal account.
Yeah, not yet, man. That's going to be down here near 14. Not reloaded, just get more, because I didn't sell anything. Down here at 15, if that could be good, that'd be good there. Let's just check in on Google. We haven't done that in a minute. Again, that's why. Look what it's doing right now. Well, actually, now that I zoom in, it's okay. But you're kind of in this channel, right? Bottom of 136.80, top of 137.40, and right in the middle. So this is not for me. Like if we're gonna give a little bit of a channel here, there, and then there, it's not breaking. So this is not doing anything. When you look at a stock like AMD, which is now, let's go. Good hold, man, for AMD as it's coming back in. It's now down $1 from its day high. We're only in the money 80 cents. As you know, you put them out, you throw them on the table, and you take a shot. So there it is. It's AMD to the downside right now. and still trying to push. So what a difference this looks like. There's the high, now breaking it down in. I think we got to have something at 127.50, right? So let's put a bid down there, and then if we break lower, remember I said like we could get this collapse in, and if we can get a 125 print, that would not surprise me. VWAP down at 125, 126. You know what? Let's just wait, guys. Let's wait for 126. Let's see if we can put it on the board to end the day. So 126, hopefully incoming here. I'm going to have to get ready for the closing show, but that's not for a minute. We do have, did Brendan give this update? Not yet. 3:30, we will get an update, which is right now for the closing imbalances. So someone probably, Brendan's a bit busy right now. Somebody on the, there it is, 505. What's up to ScarJo right now? 505 million buy imbalance. And again, you know, you can walk the walk and talk the talk, but this is what I said on the midday show. Till you have shares in on these things, you don't really know the feeling of holding things against you or for you. And that's one thing that I have to sort of get a good handle on, is understanding like when you're getting too greedy, when levels are being hit, so on and so forth. So you're going to see me start to get out here regardless of where this market is, as we sort of just put the icing on the cake here for that. So thank you so much for that. And oh yeah, quickly, I'm going to go have to get some water here, but we did come up with, and I'm sorry to have to tell this to you, I know there's a few of you that are looking forward to this, because I don't know what kind of a trader I'll be with options, but there's a little bit of a snag in that, so hopefully it doesn't look like it'll be before the new year, but we are looking to get options on the platform ASAP. So
yeah, Day Trade the World.
I do want to thank everybody for their patience with that, but yeah, we are out. So I was holding, I'm in at about 25% of these AMD shares left, and I'm holding it for the dream. So I don't want to hear any comments like NVIDIA is going back or AMD is going back up. I'm well aware that's why we cashed out.
So I have this is a bit of a setup kind of play. I didn't want to interrupt, but this is probably as base as it gets. Stock finally halts down after falling 1,000,000% to the downside, actually 81%, but it just feels like 1,000,000. The halt bottom since it reopened is talking about MLGO if it's not obvious. 160. I got long when it broke. So the last candle before it halted was 175. It broke that to the upside. I went long. My stop at the bottom. So if it holds this low since it reopened, fine. If it breaks it to the downside, I'm out. If it gets to 2, I take some profit on and I want to hold. If it makes a halt through 2, I want to have something on board. There's not a lot of time left in the day. So obviously you're going to have some kind of a relatively tight stop. If it breaks 180, I'm going to move my stop up. Like once we get through this local high, I'll move the stop higher because I don't necessarily want to get trapped in down halt. I can also just punch out if that were to happen. But I am an MLGO. This is a setup that it's more like an exhaustion. Think of it like an exhaustion. Like it finally halts down after all that nonsense. I don't know why it didn't halt, but it finally halts down, opens higher, and if it's going to show me some kind of a bid, I guess shorts have to cover too. And if we got some time left in the day, I'm just looking for the bounce play. Again, this is not thinking the stock is fantastic. Someone just got hit on the offer. Like 180 held a couple times. Someone threw 800,000 shares and got filled. And I'm seeing someone refresh for like 10,000 at a time at 180. If it gets through that 180, I'd expect a little bit of a bump up in MLGO. The other thing, of course, I'm still in PayPal. Well, not of course, I am still in PayPal. It's holding underneath consolidation on, I don't have to zoom in so far, underneath VWAP, but I'm going to get more aggressive in getting out of this thing because it's now 335. Great, it's showing some signs of weakness, but it's not exactly flying around at this particular point. So it gave a good, decent 15-cent move. It was a 20-cent move that I captured to 15, but it's running out of steam a little bit there. So MLGO, as long as it holds that halt price, okay, it just made a break up. Now I have to zoom back in so you guys can see. It's going to go into an up halt here at 191. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold through the halt, cancel my offers, hold through the halt, and I'm going to leave. I'm going to put a stop in, but no longer at that 160 level. In the halt, this wick bottom is like 175, which is about break even. Now my stop's going to be underneath 175. So I'm just going to move my stop up and hold on to MLGO. This is not going to go GameStop and go like 1,000,000% up after halting down. If it makes a break of $2, I'll be pretty happy here.
All right. What's up to the skips 8 right now? You're not going to believe it, but you don't have to. Where was your short? Sorry, the skip 8 says, Sean, when you took your Apple short at 195, where was your stop? 195.02. So I know it's going to sound crazy, but 7 cents worth of risk for 100 cents of profit. That's what we're doing here. So yeah, that is great question. Thank you so much for that. But that's why you could see when you have 7 cents worth of risk, and I told you, it's not like the maximum we had. This fill was 500 shares right there. We added to it once we got some out, then we added to it. It came back up. So this is what I'm saying about like P&L and stuff like that. It's not that important. It could be 5,000 shares. It could be 5 shares. It's whatever you want to do. But as it's starting to come back in, now I'm going to take some more profit here after that reload. And again, we were getting pretty good with the holds. I feel pretty good about holding it all the way to view up and then making it down. Remember, this is one of 7 names that we're profitable on, and this is a late entrant into that. It was, again, for the risk to reward. Easy day on that one. Palantir getting out. NVIDIA now 17 cents. AMD is now, again, for those of you wondering about this AMD trade, it's now 80 cents in the money. So that's what we're doing. Thank you so much for joining us every single day. There's someone had a question there. Oh no, this is what I have to do. It is, look, if you want to be us, I hope you can be much better than us. But the way that you can start your journey is by joining today the campus experience. So we do, it's only for Canadian residents as far as I know. Hit the apply now and you'll get an answer like that back at you. But what it's going to do is it's just going to take you through everything. You're going to learn about our software. You're going to learn about like-minded individuals. You're going to learn with them. There's in-class. It's all online. So you get all that, all this kind of talk, teaching, and you get to trade on our platforms as well. It doesn't require a lot of time, but it does require that you be a Canadian citizen. So that's the one thing that we're working on right now is to get it available to everybody everywhere. But it's campus.daytradetheworld.com. They're not Trader TV Live. So check that out as we go and join it ASAP and
ASAP.
Yeah, ASAP Rocky.
Well, I was gonna say like, oh, it doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah, no.
Bloody Loco.
Yeah, Apple's still $1. I might just get out now of Apple here.
Oh, I made an adjustment. I should say this. I'm now gonna. It's 3:37. This is obvious at this time of day. I'm taking half out if it opens up. Look, it's tapping 208 on MLGO. I'm taking half out. If this was earlier in the day with more room to run, I'd probably try to hold more of it. But no. I'm going to take the opening print as long as it looks like it's over 2. My stop is still going to be underneath that 175. But there's not that much time for it to run. So I'm going to take some out on this reopen.
Yeah, I think it's going to reopen momentarily, I think, right? So
well, no, there's still a minute and a half. I just wanted to make sure.
Close. That's pretty close. Get your market on open orders or limit on open orders out for that fill as well. So again, like just, I mean, what do you guys want to talk about? You want to ask me any questions? I mean, that's always popular. We could do a little bit of that. Maybe we'll do a Q&A tonight on the stream. It's me by my lonesome. So we will hit that. Maybe we'll get Bears versus Bulls and we'll take down some questions. I'll probably tweet that out at the beginning of the show. So join me then or put them in right now. Ramen noodles for dinner tonight. That sounds pretty good.
Who's having ramen?
The boring man. I'm having.
I missed that.
Tonight, the wife asked me, we've got some nice chicken wings that we're going to be putting out there. We'll be barbecuing those up. And then she's making, obviously from scratch, you know, that's what she does, some kind of a soup. So the last one that we had it wasn't sweet potato, butternut squash from scratch there. She made that one. So we're going to see what it is. It's going to be a surprise in the Katina household tonight for dinner there. So yeah, what's up, Mr. Love Shack and everybody there? Burgers on the barbecue. That sounds fun. And yeah, Rivian breaking the high of the day. Look, man, we wrote down Rivian that we really like that stock. And unfortunately, we had the long right down here off of 18, but I don't know if it's going to go any higher than where we are right now. I'm looking at Rivian and I'd be a little worried if anybody's taking the long now. There's only 20 minutes left, only 10 minutes into the imbalance. I'll be on Rivian tomorrow, man. It's just like, this is why we're having such a great day. My mood is obviously great. I'm having the best day of the year. And, you know, we're going to go, like I said, every trade we put on has been a winner here. So let's, I may just throw in the towel on NVIDIA because we've already made the profit on this name. I don't really feel like giving it back. It's bouncing off the 200 a bunch of times. Hey, if this takes 465, let's get out of NVIDIA on a 465 take, and then that's that. I was going to give it a higher and average into the short, but right now it doesn't look like it wants to go down. We've already taken profit, and the math is in, baby. If we break above 465, we will still be positive. I'm not even going to I was going to give it to the high of the day here on 30. Not going to do that. Like throwing 30 cents back and forth is not going to do that. So out at 465 to complete the day and a perfect 7 for 7. So if Chinese 7 is bad luck, it's not for this guy today. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to get ready for this closing show, but it's been good. Thank you, Charlie Taft, man. Great energy today. I appreciate you, my guy.
That's what it's all about. And Dan, you're right about this. A quick adjustment, just showing you guys an update here. My previous out was the halt bottom. I took the opening print pretty much at that $2, just underneath the $2 level on MLGO. I just took another leg out when I saw sellers at 2, but my next out with my trailing stop goes back to the last halt up. So that was at 191. So I'm just continuously, I'm holding if it can break out from here to go a little bit higher, and we only have 15 minutes to go or 20 minutes to go. But if it gets back underneath the last halt price, MLGO, we'll get out. It gave you 177. You had one move into 190 and now another one into 2. Put it into perspective. This is a stock that just fell from like $18 in the pre-market and has been dying all day long. Take what you can get. Don't get greedy. And again, for me, this is a setup where it just finally halted to the downside. Relieving some pressure to the upside is all I'm doing here. There's 170,000 shares in the offer today. There's people dumping at lows like this. Lots of shares into this, but let's go to the desk. We got to handle some business. Courtesy of
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and zero commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
Yeah, I'm just getting out. I'm just going to punch out. The last time there was a huge seller was down at 191. They got filled. And they refreshed, and they got filled, and they refreshed, and they got filled. This time it got to the seller within 5 cents, and it did not want to get anywhere near that 160,000 shares. It pulled back 10 cents. So I'm just going to punch out. It's 342 anyways, but that's a setup where the only thing I would do differently, because ideally when it opens up higher, I'm willing to take the breakout at 177, but I was actually trying to get some shares at 165. In this upward move. I didn't capture any. I actually had to get the higher leg, and I got in and chased it a bit. And if I was more patient, I could have gotten something at 170 or maybe even like a 168 to tighten up the risk. But this is something I've seen happen when you go down that far. You just look for one halt to the downside at the very bottom, late in the day usually, and then your stop is at either the low of the day or the halt price. The reopen price, one or the other. So there's a seller at 208. I'm out of the stock, so I don't really care. But if anyone's following along, they have not touched that offer at 208. It's there, and they won't even get to it on the offer just yet. PayPal with only 7 minutes till the imbalances. It's stalling at 38 with a bid at 37 for me, so it is what it is. I'll just move it up. I'm just going to get on the bid right here and see if I can't get those 40s. Dan McIsaac, you're right. It felt like it looked weak on MLGO. I could be wrong about that. They just filled that guy, and then it broke higher. So, you look at the thing about reading the tape or looking at a stock is just because it looks weak or there's a big seller, it doesn't actually mean it has to go down. To me, it just meant I had to make a decision, and my decision was to cover the trade, just to take the win as it was and not hold for the bigger move. If that ends up being wrong, so be it. That's what I saw, that before when there was a big seller, they were filling it easily, and then when I saw it the second time, they weren't. So I said, get out. I didn't have to get short, but to me, it just said get out. If it ends up going higher from here and someone held it, congratulations, to be sure.
Yeah, GameStop's starting to run like crazy right now as well, so that goes up to the upside. We got Lulu, we got AVGO, we've got sector recap coming for you right now at 344. We've got DocuSign, we've got lots of stuff going through here. And I think it was, what did we say it was? It was 500 and something, but was it to buy or to what there? Okay, we just got...
Oh, it was to buy.
Was to buy, okay. Yeah. So there it is, man. We will end the trade on NVIDIA, still stay green on it, but we'll just go, hey, man, why'd you get out? Well, because we're getting to the end of the day there, and I'm pretty happy with that trade. Apple, of course, There it is, down to, I mean, we got the fill. You don't get a fill unless you sit there. 194.05, there it is right there, off the short 195. So in a trade that was 7 cents worth of risk, we'll take 95 cents right there, and whatever that is, 13 to 1 or 14 to 1 on that. So that's pretty good. We still have a small piece in case something blows up there. Palantir, we've been getting out. Oh, there goes AMD. We just got a fill to the downside there as well. Look, we said we'd wait for this to collapse, but it doesn't look like it's going to, and we'll take $1. I mean, it's hard enough to get $1 around here anyways, so that's a good one there as we continue to go. Good, and more good. Ryan Cohen apparently is now allowed to start spending some of his cash on GME, so maybe that's what's creating this to get back up to the upside. So, all right, yeah, 345. What else, man? Gave back some Tesla profits, says Ozan. Let's have a quick look at Tesla. We actually looked at Tesla today, so I will do it now for the first time. So just to talk about what I look at when I see this. So VWAP is down here at 240. Well, it's actually 241 almost. Kind of in the middle here. I wouldn't really be looking to do anything. You see this bar coding. Obviously, that's great. This is just looking at it, reviewing this. 238, it's a level that I'm pretty sure we've talked about that we like. So that 238, I think it goes back into a couple of different closes, not yesterday. But anyways, that's a good little level there. The one thing about Tesla is it doesn't look like the others. And what I mean by that is it's not breaking. Like, it doesn't look like Google or Apple. Like Apple's at all-time highs today. Like it's $2 away from it, right? So anyways, Tesla is definitely struggling. I feel like I'm kind of losing a little bit of my bullish edge on Tesla. I mean, I just like to say ball don't lie, and this isn't really ripping up. So we'll have to wait to see maybe Cybertruck deliveries. Let's wait for the next quarter before.
Sell the news, it feels like.
Yeah, before we get a little bit more opinion on Tesla. Let's just see the next quarter. We know margins are shrinking. Apparently, China's still relatively strong. I do worry. They got a nice bump on them making some of their parts there in India. So I feel like that's going to be a good story that we don't know a lot about yet. So we'll see about that. And then the Cybertruck, are the sales better or worse than expected? You don't want them to be worse because then you're going to wish that you had sold that. So yeah, just wait for it. Be as patient as you can be. I think we got some more Palantir love just at 20. It's trying to fall back in. Many minutes until this imbalance comes through, and the imbalance is right here. Let's have a quick look. Is there anything here? Bets down to nothing. We already talked about that. It's a little stock.
3 cents.
Yeah, Ford is there maybe as a sell, still around 11. I don't want to talk about this until like 11.50. Pfizer, still sub 30 on that one. Uber with a sell. That's a name that we didn't look at today. We wrote down 59 or so bucks on Uber. What was the bottom here today? 59.50, not aggressive enough. I wouldn't have had that, so I don't feel like that's a missed opportunity at all. Actually, I looked to short this Uber right here at 61. If I saw that, it would have been a different story, but I'm pretty happy shorting Apple. Apple's now a clean dollar in the money. It looks like it wants to break. It's not yet, but if it breaks 194, you're going to see this collapse a little bit out. So again, good trading on Apple, good trading on AMD. NVIDIA is still at that same level, and Palantir. Not much else to talk about right now. GME calls, do you hold this overnight? I would, Nicole. Thank you so much for the super chat. Depends where you are. I don't trade options, obviously, so I don't know what the premium looks like if you hold overnight, but with the way GME is printing right now and going to the upside, it was a muted release there last night, muted open today until we got going, right? Bounced around there like 14.50 or like whatever, but then that hold at 15, I like that. I think if your calls are 15 or whatever they are, you're going well right now, Nicole. So again, trade your book, but chart-wise, looks like we're rocking, man. That's that hold of that 50-period moving average, looking to take out 1750.
Chart looks good.
Wouldn't surprise me if you wake up tomorrow at 1750.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I'm making the assumption maybe people have taken some shares out, but if this stock gets above like the 1750 on the daily is a great level. I think the chance that it breaks. So like the way I look at it, 1750 is we can just trade it tomorrow if it breaks out that level. We can get back in. So maybe you don't. Maybe you want to hold something for that. Technically it looks like it could break out. Just for anyone that was watching, MLGO, I would have gotten stopped out if I didn't get out anyways, but it's still holding $2. So this is kind of leveling off at $2. Caveat, the stock was at 18, so I wouldn't, if I was long this thing, I wouldn't be doing any cartwheels. The fact that it's holding at 2, because as much as it's a good move from $1.50 to 2, this thing fell $16 today. So 50 cents, you got to put that into perspective. This is a bad stock today in every stretch of the imagination. I took more out of PayPal. If this is all it wants to give us, fair enough. I'm still going to put this into the relatively weak space. For me, it could not break out at 60. Didn't join it until late in the day. But look at the resistance at 60 on PayPal. My goodness, if this stock breaks out 60 and a half, I think this is a fantastic opportunity if it can break it out, but it's resistance until it's not on PayPal. So I'm going to short that. I'm still into Nikola, but I got to get on the bid here because it's 350 and the imbalances just came out. This is not doing anything again. This was a simple breakdown play. This is a penny stock breakdown. Like, it broke 80. Look at the barcode at 79. It goes all the way to 76 and barcode's there. So, 1 cent worth of risk ultimately. It's only going to give the 3. I actually thought it was getting to 75 because 75 was low of the day. That's the only reason I thought 75. Like, literally, it's just the low of the day. And it's 75. It's a 3/4 mark. But the imbalances are out. I didn't necessarily, there we go. I mean, Go EV, yeah. 7 million on Go EV is not a big deal. JD for 1.7 million to sell is actually a decent one. TLT, Cisco, 1.3 and 1.2 to the buy side. Apple, 1 million to buy is the biggie. And Amazon, 900,000 to buy. Microsoft, 600,000. It's only 256 to buy. I mean, you have 1 million on Amazon, you got 1 million on Apple, and it's 256 million to buy overall. That's interesting. JB, I don't know if I can do a cartwheel. I'm over 40 years old.
You cannot.
I'm not going to try. I don't think I can, but I don't actually know whether I can. I'm going to guess. I used to be able to do all that crap when I was young, but I mean, look at me. You can see gray hair.
You can't. It's nothing to do with your age. I think cartwheel, unless you really I think it takes practice. What I'm saying is you could eventually do it, but do not try it now.
No. I am not
I didn't read the chat. I don't know what this is about.
I am not trying any cartwheel.
No, because thing is, you always watch.
I know my limits.
Right, those YouTube videos where people are like, I can do this.
Not me.
You could be in the greatest shape. It's like a technique thing. That's all I'm saying.
No, I'm not trying it.
Okay, good.
I mean, if you want to ask me to do some air squats.
I don't even think Sharif could do a cartwheel. You have to know what you're doing.
He's done CrossFit and stuff. Look, if we had to.
Sharif cannot do a cartwheel.
Okay, look, if we had to bet on it, I'm not saying Sharif's not a party to this, so don't hold us to Sharif's going to do cartwheels because Sean and I made a thing. I actually think Sharif could do one. But I'm not going to put him to, hey, do one live so that we can win $1 bet or.
No.
No, I think Sharif could do it. He works out a lot. He does CrossFit, all that stuff.
Like I said, it has nothing to do with working out. That's why I say, because you're in great shape. I just don't think you can. It's a technique thing. There's no way Sharif.
Well, my flexibility, it's better than when I was younger, but it's not great. I'd say 20 years ago, no questions asked. We used to mess around and do stupid stuff after track practice, like jumping cars, and then the girls would all do, because they all the jumpers, they used to all do gymnastics. They were all freaks. And they would just be teaching us tricks, and everyone could do them because you're 22 years old and in great shape. It's been a long time since then. The general imbalance number, we did say it's 256 to buy, which is a little surprising to me. Because I'm used to when I see Apple at 1 million, and when I see Amazon, which was almost 1 million shares, and Microsoft was also a decent sized buy, I kind of thought we'd be closer to a Billy because you had a couple of big cap tech names that were to the upside. So not a heck of a lot going on there. I think what you want to watch today, in addition to the market recap, which is on Twitter as well, I think it's a great idea. Lululemon, Broadcom, and then DocuSign. DocuSign, interesting, but I said I was the most excited for DocuSign, but I was wrong about what I thought the short interest was on that stock. So I'm taking back my level of excitement for DocuSign because it's 3% short. I thought that was in the high single digits for some reason. Maybe it used to be, but it doesn't mean it can't move, but I was more excited for the chance that this could be a squeeze type play. It can't be much of a squeeze if people aren't short the thing anymore.
All right. I will. Yeah, exactly. It's got to be a squeeze play for sure.
All
right, Dan McIsaac. Look, man, you wanna rock? Let's rock. Okay. For everybody watching the show, Dan will film himself doing a cartwheel. But have you ever done one before?
Well, I don't want him to get hurt. Don't hurt yourself, Dan.
That's up to him. He hurts himself, 750 likes. We can do that in a second. So Dan, get ready, get limbered up and send that video tomorrow. I'm here tomorrow. So is Neil. We will show it live on here. Just tag me, tag all of us on wherever, and I will show that for you. And that's great. If you could do it, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
That's awesome. That's what I'm saying. Do it.
That's cool.
I wish not a dare. If you want to do it, you do it. I mean, if anybody wants to do it, anybody can do that. Tag me and I'll do it. But the thing is, remember, I'm talking about people that have no idea how to do a cartwheel. Like if you know you can do a cartwheel,
Yeah. I mean,
then it's like, I know I can go 7 for 7. I'm 7 for 7. Can I do that tomorrow? I would say pretty much no.
A cartwheel's very different though. Like
No, but I want to see. I don't want to just see. I want to see a cartwheel. I don't want to say like, oh, my hands hit the ground and like my legs barely did.
Yeah,
but I still did it. I'm talking about like
it's a technical kind of move. Like you got to be straight. You got to keep the core in balance. Like there's a lot that goes into it.
I just don't want anyone to get hurt. I think that was a valid
Well, I'm
point.
saying that's the same thing.
So 582 likes, man. You guys have 150 more likes, and Mr. Dan McIsaac will show up. And congratulations for doing that. And
I'm glad I'm not the one that agreed to that. However, and it's not, look, here's my caveat. I own shares of CVX, Chevron. So the 98, there's your support level on XOM. I think that's a tradable level, and you're about to find out in maybe 30 seconds whether it's going to hold today. Or you can look at this holding tomorrow. It's way too late for a trade. And the only reason I'm bringing up Chevron, and this is not because I own it, it's because this is held, there we go, come on, load up chart, seriously. This is held a 141, and instead of testing a low on the daily, like it's giving like scalp bounces off of this level a little bit more intently. So bigger level on XOM, but you've been getting bounces off this level on CVX. So for a trade, it feels as if this has been showing you $1, it's a couple of dollars each time it gets here, whereas we haven't really seen this XOM 98 for a while. So both of them, and look, all the oil names have been under trouble, but you're getting some pretty decent bids that are starting to come back in. As I said, I'm really talking about the 141 in the chart of CVX. It has nothing to do with the fact that I own the stock. I've owned it for a long, long time. Yada, 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 dividend, yada, 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 whatever you want here. So 3 minutes to go. A lot of these imbalances did just pair off. There you go. So, I mean, nothing big except for GoEV. GoEV is a 25-cent stock, so 6 million shares into that is, I mean, who cares? That's not really that big of a deal. It's not going to be that big. Are we not going to get to 750? Can we let's get to 750 likes, because I would love to see this cartwheel. And I'm not saying it just because I can't do it. I think it'd be exciting for everyone to be able to see. But a couple of things I just want to go back over here. For anyone still trading MLGO, there was a seller for 160,000 shares at 208. Now there is a seller for 300,000 shares at 205. So this stock might be down 80%, but there is literally just thousands and thousands of shares dumping it in this range on any kind of strength that comes into it at 2. That's why you just go for the long and get the heck out of Dodge, man. Like, that's what it's all about. No, Forest Live, I'm not the one doing the cartwheel. Like, I'll do something that's not going to kill me. I don't mind. I've done push-ups on the show. I've done like pistol squats or something silly, but I'm not going to hurt myself. Because honestly, like, it's not worth it. I've said this. I say this a lot. Like, I don't do stuff like CrossFit because I don't want to, like, I'm not here trying to win the CrossFit games or like win a bodybuilding contest. When I work out to be functionally strong and to not injure myself, because if I can't play with my kid, I'll be pissed off. So if I was doing CrossFit and doing all this crazy nonsense that they do, then I might injure something. And if I injure my shoulder lifting weights like an idiot, then I can't play with my daughter, and then I'll be pissed. So it's like, just stay in your lane. If that's boring, that's boring. So only do the cartwheel if you're okay with it. And Steve G, my hammies are just fine. It wasn't me. I will say this. I'm not going to name any names, but I wasn't the one in our fantasy league that Sean and I are in with our high school friends. I wasn't the one that pulled a hamstring during a race where they bet and they talked trash for the entire draft, then lost the race by pulling their hamstring, and now don't want the video being made public. That's not me. If it was me, I'd just sort of take the hit. But there's 30 seconds to go. I'm not necessarily no positions are gonna get put on by me at the end of the day here. I am essentially flat. That's how we're gonna stay going into this close. my daughter would be pissed if I got hurt doing that, and she could do it really easily. She's great at cartwheels, but like Gia, Sean's daughter, my daughter, they both do gymnastics, and anybody can do it if you do gymnastics. Oh, there it is. In 3, 2, and 1. I didn't even realize we're finished. Hi, I'm Neil. I forgot that we're at 4 o'clock. I didn't have any positions on, so it's not like I had anything to worry about there. But yep, the market is now closed if you haven't guessed. NLGO closes at $2. GameStop closes at, let me just double check that. That is up at $16.37. The market closed up 1.3% on the NASDAQ and the ES, 0.69%. I have no idea how the Dow did, so let's just say 0.3% to the upside for the Dow. I really don't care. Don't really track the Dow, not a big deal. Thank you to everybody. It's been an absolutely fantastic day. Fun day to trade. Lots of great education in the midday show as well. Shout out to Fabian and Ramin on the 1s and 2s. Shout out to Sharif, who's not here. And you just saw Dara. Great job in the midday. Lots of information for you guys to take in on trading psychology. Always Brennan at the desk getting us news, keeping us informed like he does. And a big shout out to both Raheem this morning and our favorite afternoon market pumper, which is going to be Frank Caberna, dropping that macro that we don't always get here. So you're not going anywhere. Stay right here. You're going to go from here, where I'm pointing to the desk, over to Sean for the recap show. You've got Lululemon, you've got DocuSign, and you've got a little bit of Broadcom. And I heard from a little birdie that was sitting next to me a couple of minutes ago, you're going to get some Q&A with Sean. So stick around. We're going to the market recap. Let's get them.
Welcome everyone, and thanks for joining me. It is your market recap, and I think today we're streaming live on Twitter, so we'll go a nice little bang for that one. Welcome everybody that's on Twitter and on X right now. We're going to talk about earnings. We've got the board going on. There's the rundown. I'll put it up for you. Oh no, that's not the rundown. There it is right now. Oh, that's not it. You got to go save it again over there. I thought I'd saved it. Yeah, Fabian, you know where it is. Go do it. We're going to talk about everything today. It's going to be Google. It's going to be AI. It's actually pretty similar to what that is, but the earnings out are going to be Lululemon, and we're going to wait to see if that comes through. We are brought to you by Benzinga Pro right now. So as earnings start to fly through here right now, there we go. Thank you so much for that one. As we get flying through here, we will be able to see any earnings plays that come out. We do have also added on there. Do you want to go add something to that, Fabian? Add TNF call. So roll call and Thursday night football, because I have a play for everybody as well. So, all right, we're going to watch out for Lululemon. What a big day it was. Let's go over the sector recap real quick, man. SMH, oh boy. We go to the upside today. Here's the daily chart for the SMH. What a good move it's been had. And again, brought to you today by everyone's favorite chip stock today anyways, is Advanced Micro Devices. Man, did we nail that one. You got to go add, and then maybe, where's Fabian? Fabian, get over there and do it. Is he there? Okay, we'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. If it doesn't get added, it doesn't get added. We only have 30 minutes on the board today, as Ramin reminds me, so let's go. We are going to take a Q&A. If there's any Q&As, put them in the chat, and my guy Bears vs. Bulls will get over on that one right here, so put them in there. Great spin, Paulie D, by the way. But okay, today, AMD. Look, Lisa Su yesterday, all I'm going to say is what's up with that, because like yesterday, they had let me zoom out a little bit here. The call yesterday, nice move down, right? But then today, everybody wants to buy up AMD. Now, where's AMD going from here? We're bouncing our head off that 132. It's a 132 top. It could come into play later on. I'm not convinced of that, but we'll wait to see about AMD. Here it is on the daily. And again, it's just like, maybe there's now competition. We tweeted this out the other day. NVIDIA, 51% profit margins. That's going to bring all the boys to the yard. And damn right, their chips are better than yours. Let's wait to see if that is true, though. AMD up there, 132. Does NVIDIA have competition now for their H chips? Potentially they do. NVIDIA also falling back in. I don't know if anybody got that reference. I'm sure you did right there. But okay, so good move up there. Is anything out yet? I'm not seeing anything. I do also have right here, brought to you by Trade Ideas, the races. As these races come through, Anything moving here in the after hours will pop up. So if I see anything moving, we're going to come back over to you ASAP. We're looking for some big ones. We're looking for DocuSign. We're looking for Lululemon. We're looking for AVGO. That's what it was, Broadcom. All right. You know what? As rates start to settle down a little bit here and we get a little bit more sort of clarity in the banking sector and what's going on, I would say watch out for $50, man. This looks like a great break on the KRE. I mean, if you know me, are you down with the KRE? This has been a great one. This is regional banks. You've seen Pac West. Did you get that in there? Not yet. Don't worry about it. I just wanted to say, yeah, she's got it. Ramin's got it right there as well. I'm trying to add on the bottom roll call and then TNF, which is Thursday Night Football. So we'll see if that can get going. I do have a play for everybody. Join me at the end of the day for that one. But the KRE is pretty good. NASDAQ today, what a great day for the NASDAQ as it's taken out highs, right? You're $4 away on the Qs before you get to those highs again. Good job taking out these past highs. Now, we're not back in there. If you go to a weekly chart on this, we still got to worry about COVID highs, but you're not too far away, man. You're at the 406. We're at 390 right now. Let's call this 3% away from liftoff. DCA, man, dollar cost average back in. Get your questions. Bears versus Bulls is scanning the chat. Any questions out there that he thinks are what it's all about, you're going to ask me those in just a couple minutes. We had a really great Q&A a little bit on the midday show, so I want to try to see if we can get that flowing. I did have a special guest lined up for you today, but unfortunately she fell under the weather. The Fibonacci Princess coming next week, so get ready for that one. I think that's going to be a lot of fun as she sort of fills in for Danielle Shea, who will be coming back very, very soon, and we'll see about that one. The SPY as well today, up 0.7. Looky, still all-time highs coming through. Let's see if it takes that out as well. We are now taking out the highs from the summertime as the market really digests the Fed, right? We had Frank Caberna on at, first of all, any earnings out yet? Let's see. It is Lulu. Lulu is out. So let's go back over here and check out a 3-minute chart for Lululemon. Uh-oh, not a good report for Lululemon. DocuSign is out. I'm going to go over all these numbers in a minute. DocuSign goes one way, Lulu goes the other. Let's find out what's up with that. All right, so here's Lululemon. Lululemon sees net Q4 revenue under the estimate. That's bad. Lululemon sees Q3, so that's what we're talking about. Their forward guide lower. You cannot guide lower in this environment. I don't think retail names should be guiding at all. But if they want to do it, go for it. Lululemon, your stock is hit because of it. All you got to do is keep your mouth shut. You don't need to guide. That is not a prerequisite. You do not need to guide. But Lululemon wants to do it. Hey, shout out, man. That's good. Give your shareholders a future look of what you're thinking. I just feel like if you're going to guide, make sure you're confident in that because that's not fair. Like if you're sandbagging, and what a sandbag means is that it means that if you know that you have a chance to do well, but still guide lower because you want to have a good quarter next quarter and say, we beat estimates, blah, blah, blah. That's sandbagging. We'll see if that's true for Lululemon. But let's see what they reported. $253 per share beating. See? There it is. 253 beating 228. Good job. 11% up. That's great. 26% increase over earnings last year. That's what we're talking about. I worry about that guide for Lulu. There it is right here. Forward 23 adjusted EPS, little lower than expected. Let's double check what the stock is doing exactly. DocuSign, nice upside. Lululemon, downside. Where do we bounce from though? Okay, so here's a weekly chart. Let's go to a daily chart on Lululemon and see if that 430 was anything. So nah, not really. We're just going back to last week's. Wow. I mean, I go like, oh man, Lululemon down 5%. But really, guys, this is just back to November 29th levels. So I think this could be a buy. We'll see if Lulu gets attractive down here at $4. I don't know, man. Bottoms up on Lululemon. All right, DocuSign, nice little, if anybody got that either. Whoa, oh no, okay, whoa. That shake there got me scared there. I hate losing everything. That's my trading right there. Let's go find out what Benzinga's saying about DocuSign. So here's DocuSign down here, revenue Q4. This is a guide. Again, 696, higher than their estimate, right? So when you guide higher, this is what happens. So Docu with a nice beat to the upside. Here's their beat right here. DocuSign Q3, EPS 79, beating 63, sales beating as well. So it's a beat on the top and the bottom line for DocuSign and a guide higher upside for Docu. On a daily though, you take it out. All right, here we go. Perfect setup. This is what we're talking about. DocuSign right now taking out the 50 to 200 period moving average. This is a buy. We're going to see what the reaction is tomorrow. I may be buying some DocuSign. This is a name I'm not in, but a name I like. DocuSign above the 50, the 200 period and bouncing great off the 50, giving you that smiley face back up to the upside and taking it out. There's your cup. There's your handle. Let's go. Nice upside move here coming for DocuSign. I do not see Broadcom, AVGO. Are we out yet? No, we are not. So Broadcom, I like the play here. I feel like you could retrace back down to 800 if it's a bad number. Let's see if Broadcom comes up with anything. All right, back over to sector recap just real quick. What was down today? Oil gets a hit today, closing the day at $69 a barrel. That's okay. They're going to have to fill up that SPR, right? Strategic Reserve, Petroleum Reserve. They're going to have to fill that up at some point. I think oil bounces. I'm almost a buyer of XLE. I'd rather wait for 77, 78, but I like XLE for downside here. I think you can buy it, but USO today was the name that got pulled back in, right? Yeah, so yuck for that one. Hey, if you're joining us now live on Twitter, thank you. Welcome. We're streaming on X, I think. Yes, we are. I just looked at Brendan and say, I think. I don't want to. So we are. Thank you so much for that. And on YouTube, man. The Trader TV Live universe continues to expand, and we're not stopping, guys. So get ready for this. We may or may not be turning this also into your local podcast. So watch out for that as we grow our wings. And thank you so much for hitting the like and hitting subscribe. I don't have anything on this, but please do it. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and let's help grow this community. There's OIH. Again, this is oil services, not down as much as USO, but look at it bleed. If you're going to take an ETF, I feel like that is safe, but you're not going to get paid a dividend. Some will, not the ones I'm mentioning. So therefore, if you like oil down here, we talked about this yesterday as Sean's tweets, it was buybacks, corporate buybacks at all-time highs right now. So hey, Chevron, what's up, baby? Start buying your stock back ASAP. You are down near some of these lows. Look at this 140. Ooh, man, like this is getting to be pretty juicy. I don't love oil because honestly, it's not a play for the future. But as far as valuation is concerned, Chevron down here might just be too good to pass up. Their cash to debt ratio, not bad here at 0.3. I'm going to go back and find the historical ratio on that because if we're at an attractive level, this seems too good to pass up. Does it not? It's Chevron. So let's find out about that. Just a quick check. Look at the bottom right. Not Lulu. There it is right now. Let's see if that's holding. Yes, it is, man. A nice bounce off 430. And again, we've seen Nike start to go back up to the upside and like sort of sans any kind of boycott about China or anything about Nike. Sometimes we can get a little bit political with some of their takes. Let's just wait to see if it can hold above here. Nice move back for Nike. There's their earnings call down there. Nice bounce. Nice move back upside as we start to take out some levels. So Nike and Lululemon. The other one would be UA. You could go UAA for Under Armour as well, different class of shares. But look at Under Armour looking to take it out as well. So the retail sector appears to be a little strong right now. So that is great. More to come on that. Look at Macy's was a name I want to talk about too, because look at that bottom off earnings, right? 1050. Look at this, 70% up for Macy's, 70 points in just over a month, not just under a month. Are we overblown on some of this? Potentially we are. All right, I mean, TAN, I like this as a buy. I feel like as rates get better, again, solar's still expensive to put on the roof, so you're gonna have to most likely take out a loan for this, both on the corporate side and the residential side. So I feel like TAN could be one that battles back a little bit, and I really, really like the IBB, but the thing is, the biotechs, come over to the screen quickly, maybe Ramin, thank you. This is already off as well. So let's see about a 200 period break there for the IBB. Again, some of these biotech names, working with low rates is best for their environment, as forward-looking profits depend on current cash flow. So you got to watch out for that. And again, what I mean by that is spending money on R&D. A lot of these biotech names need to stay afloat, and then you sometimes need to borrow cash, and then time value of money for investors is a thing when rates are at 6%, less of a thing when you're down there at 0 to 1%. So the IBB has to get back going. I do like that. All right, what time is it? It's 4:14. Ramin's got to get out of here promptly at 4:30, so we're going to try to get this going ASAP right now. So, all right, let's go over to the next topic. I need a bumper for this one. It's going to be Sean's tweets. So let's just go breaking news, because this is my favorite. I know, I see. I'm waiting for that, Ramin. She's trying to kill that. I don't know why you're killing that, because Fabian drew it. I really like it. Let's go over to my profile right now. Thank you so much for joining. There it is a couple times. Now, what about Sean's tweets? I want to talk about this one real quick. Hit F11, they say. All right. Now, diversification, diversification, diversification. Really? I mean, that's the whole thing. Was that okay? What about... Slow clap. Okay, I like it. All right. Here's this very handsome gentleman. I hope I look like this at 93 or whatever. Is he diversified though? Look at Apple. Look at this. Straight down the line, 50% of his portfolio was in Apple. The next little, I think it's 15 or 20% in Bank of America. But look at all of this, right? Others, so he goes 1 name, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 names. You can see them here. I just talked about Chevron, right? Occidental, we know about that. Coca-Cola, American Express. So basically, we have 1 financial, 2 financials, right? 2 oil names. 1 Apple, so tech name, consumer discretionary, whatever you want to put Apple into, we all know about that. And then there's another consumer name with Coca-Cola. After that, man, all others, only 50 billion there under management. So add it up, add it up, add it up. Like, just everything else adds up to these 2. So do you need to be diversified? I don't know. When we think about Berkshire, we think about the whole pool, but I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention, because to me, that's pretty interesting. Now, what about this? What about R&D? Why has Intel shot up over the last little while? It's all about the foundry, right? They've put a lot of money into R&D, including, shout out to Eric with AI Tech Investing. Intel has spent over $100 billion in R&D over the last decade, crushing everybody else. Here's Qualcomm, NVIDIA, AMD. So again, Intel got hit real hard, down to $25. See you later, Kat. Down to $25. But now, as they're paying off, as more chips start to get rolled out, the computer space is back, the data space is back. So you can see Intel definitely paying off on that. I just found that really interesting, because often we think that it's NVIDIA and AMD that are spending all the money, but no, Intel over the last decade really pumping it in. And again, they didn't see the returns, right? They did not see the returns on their income. Now they are upside. All right. Next tweet, real quick. What a surprise. It's going to be Lululemon. Now, Lululemon reporting after the bell, that's already out. But just look at this. Look from 2005. And honestly, quite frankly, I'm not afraid to say this, I was one of the initial investors when this went public. Why? Because my wife was like, these damn pants are great. And I said, these pants are great, they're $100. She goes, that's your problem. And I said, yes, it is. So then I said, well, if it's my problem, then I have to invest in it, because I'm not telling her not to buy those pants. You all know why. Boom, nice move to the upside. Buy quality names. And by the way, she does spend a lot of money at Starby as well, so we own Starbucks shares. Look at this. Look at this move for Lululemon. Huge move to the upside. It's a Canadian name, and it continues to work. I like Lululemon no matter what happens with that report. That's Sean's tweets, and they're pretty good today. We could talk all about everything. We had a really funny example today as well when I was saying, okay, Google, okay, Siri, okay, Alexa, and it woke everything up. I hope it didn't do it again, but it's doing it for my phone. So shout out to everybody. I hope those tweets are a little bit exciting, and join me on the road to 50,000. We have 43,000 followers right now. Let's get that number up a little bit higher as we tweet out every single day, and we have some fun on the show. And I think that's obviously what it's all about for us as we go. So the one thing that I want to talk about as well today was what kind of a day it was to trade. Now for me, I only had one big short. Oh no, I'm gonna have to edit this really quick, so let me just do this so I can show you. The only short that we had on, come on man, Apple didn't print that low. Sometimes our platform will also print dark pools, right? So there had to have been a dark pool print down here. That doesn't mean it went there. Look at Apple today. Look, we had to be patient. I think patience is really key, right? So look at this, Apple all morning, all the way to the upside. Look where it stopped, right? 195, okay, fine. Nice pullback into the 50-period moving average. Nice move back up. We weren't ready to short it yet, but look at this. Another drop down into that same resistance. So I said, you know what? Once, twice, Obi, thrice. What's up, Obi? One of the last traders here right now. Shorted that once, took the profits. Was like, okay. And we put on a few hundred shares up there. We talked a little bit about that. Then we re-shorted it again because I liked it. Now this trade, someone said, Sean, where was your out? And I'll just tell you, I'm short at 195.95. My out was a few pennies above that 195. So when we're ringing registers down here for dollars, that's a good trade, right? About 13, 14 to 1. But that's why we start to take profit when it comes back in. We can't hold for the dream all the time, but we did at the end of the day. There's 194 flat. It's a good trade on Apple. Why I'm talking about this and not my 8. I mean, you want to talk about Sean's tweets today. Let's go over to the sticky note, and I'll do that in a minute. The reason why we're talking about this is that we had patience waiting for this top. Despite the market rallying all day, if you're a bear or you want to short things, you just have to wait for your time. Look at AMD. We'll talk about this today. Well, let's talk about this right now. AMD right here. This might be crazy, not bad. 121.50. I'm going to show you what we had written down on the sticky note. You can find this sticky note every single day. 121.50 long. Okay, we talked about that. They had news. They had those chips, and it was running here early. Also, Google, 135 long break. Go check out that. Rivian long, Palantir long. The rest is history, but here's the 121.50 break. Boom. Huge amount of shares taken. Nice trade right off the jump. Boom. Nice take right up to 123, $1.50. Good. There's the reload there. Okay, we're reloaded. Boom, out at VWAP, out. These are dollars, and then there again is $3, taking out at 124 and being pretty happy about it. But look what we did at the end of the day. We started taking some small cuts here. Small cuts, short. Actually, that was a mistake. It was this short right there, 126. Took some profits and actually got a fill back here at 124.50. The shorts were printing until they weren't. This is where we screwed up. We started shorting up here at 128 again until it worked. 128.50, prints down here 127, 127.50, 120, actually 127.80, 127.60 are best outs. Be patient, wait for that move to happen. Again, only short that really worked were these last couple. This one did early, then these one worked late. We got chopped up a little bit there in the middle. All right, let's go over to the next topic. Let's talk a little bit about Q&A. So it's Trader Talk. This time, the trader is you. So let's go over here. I'm going to say a shout out to my guy over here, Bears vs. Bulls. He's dropped a couple of these chats in for me. I'm going to open up trade ideas here so I can go over some of these topics on trade ideas for you. So there it is right now. Let's go. All right. And I'm going to put them in the chat, okay, so everybody can see them as we go. All right, here we go. What's up to Emma Fernandez? He chooses you like Pikachu. So it's Emma Fernandez. What's up? Here it is. So at Sean Katina, since you started trading, what's the most fruitful fruit salad habit you have incorporated that made you a better trader? I sort of just talked about it. Thank you so much for asking this question. And although I get excited about trades live on the show. By the way, Broadcom is out. Quick little look at this because this is what we do and it's my show. I'll cry if I want to. Broadcom, 920 close, down to 888. Shout out to Eric Lindros. Nice move back up to 909. Looks like Broadcom relatively flat here on their report. Oh, there it is right here. Broadcom increases quarterly dividend 14%. That's nice. But here it is right now. Sees an increase in FY revenue, 50 billion versus 45. That's good. But here are the numbers right here. So Broadcom Q4 adjusted 1106 versus 1098. That's a beat. Sales is a miss, sending Broadcom lower. But this is Q&A. So stay focused, my guy. All right, here's Q&A right now. What was the big thing that helped me out? We just talked about that on Apple. It is patience. All right, be patient, wait for your trades. Don't get overly excited. Make sure that they hit certain levels. And if you miss it, it's actually two things. It's patience and no FOMO, right? Make sure that if you miss a trade, you'll be able to get it back, man. And that's the one thing. So thank you, Emma. I feel like stick to your plan, have a plan, and trade with patience. I cannot honestly highlight that enough. That's the one thing that's changed and made me a much better trader. So, all right. Aurora Alpha is going to be up next. So, how much time do we have? Still a little bit. I'm doing Bears versus Bulls. Finite. Stop. No more. I have 5 more to go. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I got to get going. All right. Q&A twice today. We had shorts within 5 cents on AMD. What is your reversal signal? All right. Good call on that one. So what I first did on AMD, and thank you so much for asking this because this is important. Let me just put this upside. The shorts, all right. So what I really started screwing this up was this candle right here. I thought we had a nice upside, and I'm just gonna zoom this over right here, and I have all these wicks, but when I thought we had an exhaustion candle up here at 127.50, so I was like, hey man, we are finally now seeing big volume come in. Like, look where this came in the first time. That was a good little reversal into the short. We talked about that, and you have to go chart this yourself, guys. 12.16, but right into here, I thought this was going to be a good reversal spot. It just was not. So I would look at high volume, and then honestly, let me just put this back in. I'm getting a little frustrated because of these wicks on our charts, but it is what it is. Maybe let's go over, let me just call up trade ideas quickly to talk about this. But let me just call it up here, AMD quickly. I'm gonna call up a 1-minute chart just to show you guys this. So you see, so it's just up here. How many times? Like, this is really the first time, other than right here, that we actually kind of got confirmation that potentially we saw a high. So we went up to 128.50 and flushed, came right back and couldn't take it out. So again, kind of like playoff past levels. I'm not going to sit here and talk about like, oh, this, that, like quant levels or anything like that. I just trade off support and resistance and really take shots. So that's what we did on AMD. Thank you for the question. Just look for past support and resistance. And the thing is, you could take as many shots as you want. This is where Neil and I will differ a little bit. Neil mentioned today he was 2 stocks green, 8 stocks red. For me, that won't fly, but you're going to have to trade your own book. And everyone has reasons and strategies. So for me, I feel like you take 2 or 3 shots, and then if you're using size, you got to get out when those levels break. Stick to your guns and be patient right now. Nunya Biz. Hey, what's up, Nunya Biz? Shout out to you right now. This is Nunya Biz, but I'm here to tell you everything. 1-year member. Thank you so much, Nunya Biz. Ask Sean if he uses level 2 on every trade. Question, no. What I use level 2 for is if I see size. Now, Apple had a hell of a lot of size up there at 195. So I did use that as an indicator. If you're going to see 300,000 or 400,000 shares on that level 2, and you do that times the price of the stock, I mean, that's going to be a big order. But remember, with HFT, with algos, with hidden order types, it doesn't take much to bust size. All right, there's a lot of liquidity out there. There's 5.8 trillion in the overnight cash market. Anybody can put that to work any single day. So Nunya Biz, no, I do not use level 2. And I honestly think, depending on your style, level 2 isn't great anymore. Too many hidden orders. God, 2 more minutes left. All right, Hertz Scrambler. You got me right now. I like this one. Will the Packers make the playoffs? Come on, my guy. We play the Giants on Monday. That's another win. Puts us to 7-6. We will take care of the Vikings. They're fugazi. We beat the Lions as well. I feel like we do make the playoffs, but we are the youngest team in the NFL. So I don't know if they can hold it together into the close. I can't stop talking. Into the close of the season. Let's see if they can hold it together. It's about the mental with those guys. Don't make mistakes, Jordan Love. Let the defense take you and everything like that. All right, last one. It's Harry Lou. What's up, Harry? All right, Pats win tonight. I have something for you in a minute. What is your strategy for trading the opening gap after earnings? All right. Thank you for that. I think that's a great question. So let me just quickly talk about CRM quickly. This was one play that if we go back here, let's go back to a 60-minute chart because, all right, perfect. So again, look, this is 60 minutes is going to be too much. 30 minutes maybe? All right, so I don't remember your question. What is your strategy for trading the opening gap? All right, so you see, here's a huge gap up for CRM. But the thing is, I don't know, right? This is the day, right? I don't know what the rest of the world thinks. I'm not sure if there was an oversized position on calls or not. I don't know if people are going to capture profit at these levels. So my suggestion is when you get an overnight gap, wait for the fill of the gap or wait until you get some kind of a base. This gave it to you at 244. It hasn't seen it since. So let it settle down, right? And hey, we could do a live one right now about GME, right? Here we go. So GME last night, not a great report. We had it live for you. I said that GameStop was relatively muted, but did you want to trade it off the open? Maybe not. Let's go over to a 5-minute chart because this is a live example. Well, look what happens. GameStop gaps down, right? It was opened up down, what, 4 or 5% down to 1350? But then look at this. It made a base. It based out. It showed you once. This is a 5-minute chart, remember. Once, twice, thrice, bottoms at 1350. It gave you that base. So you could have gone long, possibly on a break here of $14 and given it that 50 cents. So thank you for the question. Base out, give yourself a break, take it and hold it against. All right, next topic, of course, is roll call. So let's hit it. All right, this is your chance, everybody. If you're watching on YouTube, maybe I'll try to implement something on Twitter. Twitter is, I just realized Twitter is closer to real time than YouTube. Okay, thank you, Dan McIsaac, for that one. But you don't need real time right now because this is the market recap show as we go. But let me look here. Who is all about this right now? All right, Dan McIsaac's here. Good luck on that cartwheel, my guy. Shout out to Darwin. Shout out to Phil. Shout out to Elon. Thank you so much. I mean, I hope it's been a great show. I put a lot of time and effort into this. Paulie D, what's up? What's up, Jacob? Andrew Chow is here. Yo, what's up, Mr. Love Shack? You're welcome for the hard work. Thank you for watching, man. D. Westermeyer, I impress you every single day. Well, thank you so much. Tell that to my wife. Dr. Strange, thank you. Ryan, what's up? Another great day. AMD made your day. AMD made my day as well. So here we go, man. They're all coming through. Great show from Rock the Doc, Crazy Carl, Henry Trung, Katina Men. Katina Men? Yeah, there's a couple of those, but there's only one right here right now. Thursday night football is Pittsburgh Steelers versus your New England Patriots. Now, the thing about all of this is the play, and again, is going to be who's ready. I got to put this image in a new tab. So let's do it right now. As you can look, right now, what do I like? It's going to be another prop bet. It is, get ready for this. Here are all the prop bets right here, right now. It's going to be, I have to scroll this over. It's Najee. Maybe I got to zoom this out. There it is. Here we go. Can we all see this? It's going to be a Najee Harris anytime touchdown. We gave it to you before at plus 150 last week. Who was it? I can't remember who it was, but it was great. They hit at plus 150. Najee Harris tonight with this one at plus 160. Why, you say? Give us the goods, Sean. So I will. This is going to be a little bit of a dirty game, I think, tonight. Look at Najee. 1, 2. This is the last couple games. Now that they fired Matt Canada, the Pittsburgh Steelers can score. Let's see if they can do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 touchdowns in the last 6 games. I like that, right? No touchdowns last week, but many attempts. Jaylen Warren does not get the goal line carries. He scored 4 in the last 7 touchdowns in his last 7 games. This game's going to be ugly. I think it's going to be a run game. Kenny Pickett's hurt. Mitchell Trubisky enter the game. Hand the ball off. Najee Harris, a former first-round pick. Shout out to Alabama. I think this goes higher, man. This is a good game. If you had bet this in each of the last 7 games, you'd be up 3.4 units. It's a Najee Harris anytime touchdown. Thank you so much for watching. Again, thank you to my guy Tim. Thank you to everybody watching. This is going to be a good night. Maybe you don't want to watch football, but like Taylor Swift, she never watched it, and now she wishes she did for the rest of her life. Shout out to that. They're going to get married, right? Come on, let's be perfectly honest right now, which will please Adara. All right. Thank you so much for watching, guys. It's been a great show. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube. Traders stay late, and you did with me. Much appreciated. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. I'm back tomorrow. Ciao.